So, Amen, I've started the live stream now. We can start.
Okay, awesome. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Hame. I'm going to be the facilitator for today's event. So welcome to Bincom ICT Career Talk. This is a platform where newbies in tech or people who are also seasoned in tech get to navigate their career paths in tech depending on their track field. And also this is also a platform where people who are also seasoned in tech can also better position themselves in finding a better path in expanding their horizon in tech. And also today we're going to be having two speakers, Mr. Gbolahan and Mr. Matthew. Thank you for joining us today. We're really pleased to have you in our presence. So before we start, I'm going to begin by giving a brief bio about our speakers. I'm going to start with the first speaker, which is Mr. Gbolahan. Mr. Gbolahan is the Managing Director of Casting Crown Corporation, one of the leading green building and environmental sustainability firm in Nigeria, with core satisfactory services in areas such as smart home building design and construction, interior design services, building maintenance and energy management, infrastructural facility management, environmental sustainability services, and management consultancy in Nigeria and Ghana. He is also the Executive Director of Infinity Point Nigeria Limited, a technology-driven engineering solution company operating in the oil and gas, civil engineering, and infrastructure and managed service industry. He's a graduate of the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, where he banked the BSc in architecture and also holds a master's degree in environmental design in architecture from the University of Lagos, Akoka. He also holds a diploma in global governance from the International Business Management Institute, Berlin in Germany, and currently studying Executive Master of Business Administration from the Quantic School of Business and Technology, USA. He's the founder and lead conversationalist of Engage Youth Africa Initiative, a Pan-African youth-led nonprofit organization that is focused on mentoring and empowering African youths and helping them see their life dreams become a reality. He's also the co-founder of Married Pearl Therapy Initiative, a life coaching and marriage therapy initiative. He partners and collaborates with technology for the Street Initiative in Lagos, imparting street kids in public schools with technology skills and learning. So that is it for our first speaker. So Mr. Gbolahan, thank you so much for coming. Please, the floor is yours. So you can begin with the presentation. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning, sir. We can hear you loud and clear. Welcome, sir.
Oh, good. Thank you. Good morning. First, let me appreciate Bincom for the privilege given, and I do not take it for granted. I'm always excited when I have opportunity like this to interact and engage with youth. And by the way, that's what I do when it comes to social work. And I'm sure that we're going to have exciting time together here today. Tolu, can you please help me put on the slide so that I can run with us? The topic before us today is one of the interesting topics I've been interacting with for almost about 3 years now. Okay, since the inception of the global pandemic, I've done quite a number of research work when it comes to technology and generally in the disruptive industries. So today, part of what I'll be sharing with us are some of my findings and some of the things I've been interacting with when it comes to working from different industrial perspectives. While I'm waiting for Tolu to help with the slide, I just want to give us a background into what is happening and all of us need to be aware about. You know, it's interesting when you see people doing quite a number of breaking barriers, shattering the glass ceilings, and doing ingenious things. these things don't just come by, they are intentional. Okay, there are things that you just have to be decisive about in making trends, in giving, in bringing realities about, in terms of when people have actually imagined dreams, even some of these visions that had been there, but kind of like waiting for when they're going to become a reality. You know, it's something that has to be done intentionally. And that's why I'm excited. And one of the things that we'll all be taking away from here is how to create unparalleled intention in our hearts in order for us to be able to key into the different demands that the current world is bringing the those. Tolu?
Nate, I'll soon share my screen. Sorry about that. Sorry about the delay.
Okay, no problem. I actually sent it quite late, so I should be the one apologizing.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. So let me just ask. I'm talking to all the participants now. You can actually make use of the chat box. Is anyone currently operating within the tech industry, either formally or informally? Is anyone among you who is currently working in the tech industry?
We are all working in the tech industry.
Everyone? Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm actually interesting. Thank you, Patrick. Interesting. So I think some of the things I'll be talking about will not be strange, because it's good to understand the context of the listeners and participants, so that I will not be talking grammar, as it were. So yeah, thank you, amen. So I think I'm actually at home. So of course, part of the ideas I'm going to be sharing with us, or kind of like explaining to us, is not new as such. And probably maybe some of us are already operating within those spheres. But it's good that we understand the basis for their emergence, because some of these technologies are just emerging. So we need to understand the basis for their emergence. Otherwise, we would not understand why we need to leverage on them, because some have actually come to stay, while some, as it were, not necessarily that they're actually going to stay. You can put it on full view, please. Not necessarily they're going to actually come to stay, but they have actually come to make an impact. And that's what I'm personally all about. Life is all about making impact in such a way that everything you do, you're actually making an impact in the sand of time, so that even after you're gone, like we have a lot of inventors in today's time that will still talk about them. Talk about someone like Faraday, talk about Albert Einstein. These are men who key into the technologies of the times they live in, and they were able to make undue impact, unnecessary impact, which outlive them. The same thing I'm hoping that everybody participating today will be able to key into the opportunities that are available today and still emerging, such a way that we'll be able to make generational impact. Okay, so I will just be interacting with us on, if not tech, then what? If not tech, then what? To clearly understand the importance of technology and how to use technological tools and techniques and skills to leverage on opportunities and create a sustainable future for our generation. Because it's not just all about you, okay? It's not just all about me. It's not even all about our group or this particular organization. It's about the entire world, because things that I'll be showing to you today, you'll discover that there are things that cut across the entire world, not just only in Nigeria as a country or Africa as a continent, or even part of the world, but the entire world. When COVID came, you will see that it affected every spheres of life, of human living. And up to now, some have not even been able to recover from the impact of COVID-19. So those are the things that we'll be looking at. Next slide, please. Of course, we have few learning objectives. And the first would be that we need to understand the current situation of the world, just like I've been saying. And of course, what is prevalent in the marketplace where we individually operate, because we have different ecosystems within the enterprise industry. Then we also need to understand the priority of deploying these technologies, okay, into how we work, because there's redefinition, disruption in the way we work. So how do we use technologies to optimize our operations and bring effectiveness and efficiency into our work? We're going to be looking at that. Then also want to get to know about the trends in technological skills, which you and I need to make up our minds to decide on which one you're going to actually upskill on. Probably maybe you're operating there or you want to learn new things. Then also, I'm going to try as much as possible within a limited time to help you develop a plan or decide on how to develop a plan for you to know what next for you to do. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, so to get started with, I think I need to give some background definitions to some concepts. One of the interesting thing about technology, which I've been researching on, has to do with the fourth industrial revolution, because fourth industrial revolution actually came about. Of course, some call it industry 4.0, some call it 4 and all of that. Okay, so what brought about this industrial revolution is the need to define how to strategically deliver benefits to people, how to deliver value to humanity. Okay, and the way we work, the way we go about operation, the way we go about individual enterprises in the marketplace or generally in different industries have to be redefined. Okay, because one thing that is certain in life is change. Okay, that is inevitable. Change will always come either by default or by human omission or by human creation or by the act of God. Whichever way, change must happen. It's inevitable. And for change to happen, most times for us to be able to deal with the effect of changes, we need to be deliberate. And that's why some of the revolution that happens are as a result of people who have perception, who have proper perspective into the future to imagine what life should be as far back as 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, how life should be in the 21st century and even towards the end of 21st century, okay? And those imaginative process or those creative thinking brought about the importance of fourth industrial revolution. And part of the evidences of this revolution is the emergence of internet, okay? Is the emergence of internet, and a lot of other things came with internet. When internet became the sound of time in technology, in the technological space, some of us, even in Africa, had to key into it in the late 90s, and of course, coming into the 21st century, the 2002, 03, and down to 2005, that became a song that everybody has to be singing in Africa. Okay, we see the emergence of emails and all of that, and that necessitated the effectiveness of communication. So part of what you'll be looking at under fourth industrial revolution are how technology has been able to optimize communication and how communication has been able to affect other areas of disruption, which other things are affected. So when you're talking about industrial revolution, we are looking at the current and developing environment within the disruptive technologies. And what are disruptive technologies? We are talking about Internet of Things, IoT, we are talking about robotics, and of course, robotic engineering. We're talking about virtual reality. We're talking about AI, artificial intelligence. We're talking about virtual reality. We're talking about augmented reality, and all of these things, which are part of the process of disruption, okay? Then we also need to look at technological skills. What are the technological skills that are imperative, okay, for this particular season, for this particular revolution period, okay? We're going to be looking at few of them in passing. Look at technology itself, engineering, math, finance, and all of that. Then we also need to look at transferable skills, because it's not all technical skills that are transferable. Some of them, while the revolution is ongoing, becomes obsolete and, of course, become useless. Like I remember while I was in school, School of Architecture, we're learning about programming, and then we're taught Fortran 77. Unfortunately, before we even graduated, Fortran 77 had become obsolete, has become useless, okay? And there were a lot of other emerging programs that we needed to learn. And of course, some of us had to learn them outside the walls of schools when we got into the marketplace. So the same thing, there are certain skills that are not transferable, and you must be able to have the competence and the skill for you to be able to identify some of those things within different areas of operation and areas where you are actually aspiring to be founded. Then also we talk about skill gaps and skill shortages. And interestingly, this is why some of the research works have been done. What necessitated research to be carried out for growth and development within the marketplaces or different industries, because there are skill gaps. Okay, people are still holding on to obsolete technical skills and untransferable skills. And this is drawing back growth and development in different industries. So we are going to be looking at what are the areas of skill gaps, and probably if anybody is still holding on to some of these untransferable or unneeded technical skills, you'll be able to know which one you need to. So next slide, please.
All right.
So let me just quickly give us a simple thing that be used to explain the current situation we have in this world, and that is VUCA. I know that this acronym is not strange to, if not all of us, most of us. VUCA simply means volatility. V stands for volatility, U stands for uncertainty, C stands for complexity, and A stands for ambiguity. Okay, I've modified this concept. Okay, I've modified this concept from my research to include -D. Okay, so that D implies disruption, because all that is defining is like you have a solar planet, you have the universe, and of course there is something that is always at the center of the universe that is driving the entire force of the entire universe. The same thing, there's something at the center point, the focal point of the entire issues happening that is bringing about the need for revolution, the need for change to continue and all of that. And that is disruption. Okay, that is disruption. Change in its implication means disruption. There is no change that comes without disruption. Disruption might be positive, might be negative, depending on the attitude and the disposition of humanity to change or to disruption. So I call the new world order as vocal D, vocal -D. So what it simply implies is change is necessary. And as change comes, it brings about unnecessary volatility to all spheres of life. It makes life become, it heightens the point of uncertainty in all spheres of humanity. Talk about in this business space, in social life, in economy, in all spheres of life. There comes, this unusual uncertainty. And, by the time you begin to look at the skills that are required, you see that there are skills that are meant to deal decisively, to contend with the challenges that changes and disruption within this phase are bringing our way, okay, which technology in most cases simplify, okay. Then we talk about complexity. The way life is like over 2-3 decades ago is not the way life is now, especially with the introduction of technology into disruption that is happening. So life is more complex. Our social lives are now more complex. Economies are not complex. Now complex. You can't just use simple economic theories to solve nagging problems and all of that. And that's why a lot of people who have gone to even Ivy League universities and, to study are still relearning, unlearning and learning, because changes, that happening, disruption that continues to happen necessitates continuous and progressive learning. So it complicates issues for humanity. So you need to be positioned even while you're approaching the use of technology and the selection of the right technology tools and techniques to use. You need to understand that complexity. Then we're talking about ambiguity. The way things interact with each other is not just presenting to us the complexity of issues and matters, but also how ambiguous, okay, how ambiguous they have to be addressed, okay? And in addressing this ambiguity, you need to be clear enough, because if you don't underscore clarity in the way you address issues, you have not solved any problem and you are not going to make any impact. And some clarity comes as a matter of even making precise predictions. Because I remember when COVID was about to emerge and become a global epidemic, become an epidemic, a lot of people did not receive, the introduction of the perception and predictions that medical practitioners who work within public health and community development were given. There were a lot of predictions. There were a lot of, things that were being said from research work, from findings and all of that. But what leaders and some of us who live in underdeveloped or developing economies could not believe all of this. And don't be surprised that even in Nigeria, there are still some people who doesn't believe that COVID exists. Yesterday, I was in a meeting, early this morning, I was in a meeting with some of my partners in Spain, and one of them were telling me how she contacted COVID and all of that. I'm like, wow, in Spain, you guys are still battling with COVID, with all the injections of money to your economy and all of that. So these are realities. So those ambiguities are there to stay. So we need to find a way to use technology to be able to deal decisively with defining clarity along the way. Next, please. So the question is, with all of this that VUCA has presented to us, where is the future and where does the future lie? What's the outlook of the future? For as many of us who have been, we have been working on research, we have been out there, within communities, working in organizations to help define development and strategies to remain in business for sustainability and all of that. One of the things that we keep talking about is outlook, economic outlook, social outlook, political outlook, and all of that. Because people need to have perspective. People need to be able to see, in spite of all that VUCA is presenting to us every day, okay, in all sectors, in all industries, we need to still have that right perspective. We need to still have the good picture. Otherwise, the whole humanity will be derailed, okay? So one of the things that we need to understand has to do with how technology will impact, rightfully impact, effectively, positively impact, okay, economy, because economy underscore all of humanity. I'm sure that why we are all grooming, why we are all, people are running out of Nigeria, it's not because there's underdevelopment. It's not necessarily because people are not in school. It's not necessarily because people are not really gainfully employed, okay? But because the economy is not growing. We all know what dollar is as at this morning, okay? How it jumped from one figure to 2 digits inflation increase and all of that. So it is very important and imperative that we know and understand how technology is going to drive the sustainability of economy in our nation. And this is one of the things that I believe that we should be able to take away from here. Talking about some of the propositions that Royal Societies of Art had been able to come up with. There are 4 models in terms of talking about the big technology economy, which describes the world where technology will rapidly transform our society, and also talking about the precision in economy, how technology is going to give us a future using hyper surveillance. We have a lot of researches going on talking about how technology can be deployed into research and development, into industrialization of our economy. Okay, so making everything precise instead of wasting money in doing research before development. You have technology that will help you harness data. Of course, we're going to be looking at how the importance of technology in assessing data analysis and all of that. Okay, so technology in terms of precision will help us reposition our economy in such a way that we have sustainable data. One thing that is killing our country is there's no data. There's no data. I'll be sharing some of these things and how I evaluated to know that we don't work with data here. And we spend so much of money, a lot of money is accrued every year on our budgets, okay, for us to be able to establish data system, but we don't have any functional data system in the country. So how do we use technology to effect, the importance of establishing data system? Then we also have the Exodus economy, which is basically helping the transition from the underdeveloped economy to developing, and of course, aiming at developed economy. So you'll be seeing some crashes in ideologies, economic ideologies and policies that will never work. Like I told you about transferable and non-transferable skills. Some will never work. So you just need to transit. You need to move on. Okay. How do you deal with stagnancy? How do you deal with underproductiveness? All of these things, Exodus economy will help you. Then the final one talks about the empathy economy. And this is the main space where I function majorly. I function majorly in empathy economy. And what this talks about is it brings about the rays of hope to the future. How do you ensure that there's sustainability of organizational processes, of organizational development and growth? Okay, so these are areas where I personally function. And then you have to start talking about effective and positive leadership within the empathy economy. The next, please. So again, I don't know which particular technological industry you work in, but the truth of the matter is our workplaces has been redefined. Disruption has necessitated a rejuvenation of our workplaces. Before COVID, a lot of us will have to go to work, clock in. Of course, some of us that don't even have a 24/7 job, definitely you have to look for tech hubs for you to work in routine or just work in silo and all of that. But now everybody, okay, during COVID 2020, 2021, were necessitated to stay at home and work. Some had to convert their homes to working spaces and work hubs and all of that. So when you see, the transition from office operations to home operations, you now have what we call office pods, you have home pods, and all of these, innovative and creative workplaces are being redefined, and you need to understand how you need to put into some of these things in order for you to leverage on the opportunities in terms of time management. So, sorry, can you mute the person? Please, can you mute the person? Okay, thank you. So in terms of how to leverage on the opportunities that is transitioning from the conventional way or how to work to the new ways of working, there's something we call ways of working. Okay, so you need to understand that, because when you are making choices on how to or what to approach and which one to acquire in terms of technical skills, you need to understand places of work. You need to understand areas of work. Like in Nigeria, we are still dealing with internet provision and all of that. I won't be surprised if some people will not be able to join this session simply because of internet, availability of internet. If you go to developed economies, anywhere you spot, you have internet available. So these are things, areas where opportunities are built to us, where opportunity for us to create sustainable solutions are available that we all need to begin to look into. Okay, next one. So the question now is, what really is going on right now? What really is going on? I talked about, of course, 4 dimensions. I talked about the ways of working, changing, redefined, all in all ramifications, where we work, how we work, and what to work in terms of the scope of work to be done. Before now, the scope of work has been majorly stereotyped within management system, but now we have scope of work being redefined, transitioned from management system to leadership system. And that's why I used to tell people that if you look at the bulk or the majority of the problems that is facing us right from when the COVID-19 started up to the post-COVID era, the truth of the matter is the bulk of the problem are majorly leadership focused. They are leadership failure. What is really happening when you look at some of the events that I'm going to illustrate to us, you discover that all of these things are as a result of leadership failure. So imagine if we have a tech solution that will solve our leadership failure. That automatically will bring opportunities into all dimensions of our life. The second one talks about the shortage of skills, okay? Because when people don't understand the process of adapting to this change, the process of transitioning, then it creates unnecessary shortage and unnecessary gaps that must necessarily be bridged if there must be any development or progress to us, either as a group, as a community, as a society, as a nation, or generally as a world. So that shortage is still present, and you can see it all out there. Why are people clamoring? Why are people moving out of this so-called unopportune environment to where they feel they can get greener pastures? Is because of that essential thing that we must take note of. We must underscore it. Then the third one talks about the way value are being prioritized. There's modernity in prioritization of benefits and values, because for you to be able to transfer and be able to move within the value chain, you must be able to understand the parity to value. My time is almost up. Talking about the fourth one, the need for us to create solutions, because it's not just enough for you to like, oh, I just want to make money, because that's the trend now with a lot of youth. Everybody wants to make money. It's about you creating solutions and delivering value. Okay, the next one. So now, part of the issues happening ongoing, we talked about the Industrial Revolution, talked about Brexit, talked about the COVID-19, talked about the social injustices in terms of even climate change, demanding for action, talk about the reproductive health and all of that. Then the most recent one, which is about the Russia and Ukraine crisis, the war ongoing. All of these things are provoking the necessity for people to acquire technological skills, okay? Yesterday, I was listening to analysis of why rubles, that's the currency of Russia, has not denominated, has not been devalued. Okay, it's because of the technology that they've been able to utilize, in spite of all the economic sanctions that EU, United States, UK, all of them had laid on Russia because of their invasion in Ukraine. So you need to understand the importance of technology in solving the recent problems in the world. Next, please. So the question now is, what do we do? Okay, about all of these challenges, what do we do? I'm going to leave this because this slide will be shared with everybody. I will leave this because you need to personally evaluate yourself. This is for personal evaluation. Imagine, have you ever thought about the trends, areas where you need to make impact, maybe starting from your organization or from this community, the global world, because you must be a global citizen. Okay, your whatever solutions you are coming up with in terms of you acquiring skills must be to solve a global problem. Then what kind of job do you think will be relevant in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? That's a decade at most, or let's say even having perspective at least. Then what kind of job do you want to key into? These are things that you need to ponder on, then draw some kind of plan for yourself. Okay, the next one, please. Trying to rush. Okay, so now there are skills that I will just quickly mention. How much I wish I have enough time, but probably maybe during question time we'll be able to further explain this. There are key skills that just less than a month ago we had the UN World Youth Skill Day. Okay, and one of the things that UN projects is to give that proper outlook on what youth needs to really focus on in terms of their growth and career development. So the first one, the next slide, the first one talks about data science. The first one talks about data science. So what really is data science all about? There is no way we can progress in terms of development and growth except you have meaningful data. And I've told us one of the things that is lagging behind in economy in Nigeria is because we don't have any data system. Our data system is not working, it's not functional. Okay, so there is no way the world can work without data system. So there is a need for people to acquire data analysis skills in data science for them to be able to, solve data problem. So you have to go into things like big data, acquire technological skills in big data analysis skills. Before we used to use Excel. Now there is even advanced data analysis skills that you need to, get. Like you use SPSS, you use programming languages and all of that to solve data problem. The next one talks about cloud computing. Of course, because we are all computer savvy people, of course, some of these things and some of these terms, and that's why I won't want to spend too much time about them, but I need to explain them because as much as you know them, probably you have not even acquainted yourself much with them because you don't necessarily feel they are trendy or they are things that are necessary. So I'm telling you today, cloud computing is still very, very important. Networking system and making the whole world in a simple global community is very important. And this is one of the things that cloud computing will do for you. Recently, we learned that, of course, Facebook last year was present here and they are planning to establish a data center here. Elon Musk, a few months ago, has also gotten, what's it called now, a project plan for him to be able to key into the Nigerian data system industry. So these are areas where people need to also begin to leverage on, because when jobs opportunity comes in this dimension from these industries, if you are not skilled in those areas, there's no way you can access them. Otherwise, you just keep importing foreigners to come and work here. Then talk about artificial intelligence, development, operations, blockchain technology. I'm working currently within this space. There was even an app that we released yesterday. For as many of us who are up there, you can check Sano coins. We have moved into the mining sector, in the gold mining sector, to disrupt that technology. Okay, that's that industry with technology. We just launched Sano coin yesterday, so you can download it and see right there in your room. You can buy gold even as small as 100 naira. Okay, that is what blockchain technology will do and solve any problem within any of the industries. Then robotics, call it RPA. Okay, automation using robotic engineering is also very important. You have to learn it. And some of these things are not things that you can even, because some of people, when you hear this vocabulary, you might think that, oh, it's a big thing. Absolutely not. Right from even making inquiries on YouTube, okay, networking with people, you have a lot of networking communities for all of these disciplines and skills. You can join and begin to acquaint yourself with the technology before you move that deep into learning any of the skills. It seems my time is up. I don't know if I have just 1 or 2 minutes to just wrap up with that. I would really like to mention about the fact that if you don't have the requisite knowledge, because every skill acquisition begins with understanding, because it is what you understand, you will definitely go out there. In fact, understanding precedes making decisions. If you don't understand, you cannot make the right decisions, effective decisions, as it were. So when you understand, then you can begin to look at areas where you need help. And this kind of community in Bincom, I believe, is meant to support or create the enabling environment for you to be able to acquire those skills. So when you understand the challenges, the need for the solutions, and areas that are trending, okay, because some areas are no longer trending, areas that are trending, then it will be easier for you to key into those sectors or those digital areas where you can be able to acquire those skills. Lastly, part of these skills, like I said, is meant to solve 4 major problems in any of this sector. because I've been able to x-ray those 4 sectors out. Because when you look at all industries, it's like it's the same trend. It's like the same issues that keep moving around. Okay, when you talk about industries, talk about the production, talk about the human resource management, talk about project management. Is the same concept that keep propelling. And all of this at the nexus of the 4, at the center, or what I call the connecting fulcrum for the 4, is about people. They are people-driven initiative. They are people-driven skill demands. You talk about the creative sector, all of these within creative sector. You talk about, definitely, there's no way you talk about creative sector that you won't mention about entrepreneurial skills and all of that. You won't talk about the power skills. You won't talk about even the technical skills. Then talk about the green sector. We all know that the current trend in the world now in terms of leadership has to do with climate change. So if whatever it is that you are doing, that you don't understand green concepts, you don't understand green sustainability, then there's no way your skills will be sustainable. There's no way your skill will be retained within that industry where you're functioning. Then you talk about the digital skills, you talk about the health and social skills. All of these things are the 4 major areas where in whichever industry you choose to develop skills towards and work, either in product development or in human resource, or even in the core industry processing and all of that, you need to understand these 4 areas so that along the way, when there are changes within these 4 areas, you quickly realign yourself. I remember like about a decade and a half ago, the conversation on green sector was about Millennium Development Goals, MDGs. Now it has been transited from MDGs into SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. I'm sure there are other research work ongoing in the green industry that is going to transit the conversation from SDGs into something else. So you need to be current, you need to be alive within this 4 sector. And trust me, whatever skills you have will definitely function effectively within these skills. So I'm going to end here. And I hope that at the end of this session, you are going to really have a good plan for you to know exactly what you want to learn. And we are here for you to be able to help you translate into those skills. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for that mind-blowing presentation and also an enlightening presentation. So I also want to tell everyone that please, if you have any questions, please, you have to wait till the second speaker has spoken. So in the meantime, you can also send your questions to the chat box so I can read it out at the end of both presentation. So I also want to encourage us. I'm very sure everyone learned 1 or 2 things from Mr. Gbolahan or what Mr. Gbolahan has said. And I will encourage everyone to please go on Twitter and tweet what you've learned so far. And also tag Bincom Dev Center and use the hashtag Tech Career Topic so your friends can know more about this event and can even join this event for the second speaker.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Sorry. Yeah, well, thank you to the speaker that just finished talking. Yeah, please, everybody, we love everybody right now we have a 5-minute break now. And with this 5 minutes break, we want you guys to please go on Twitter. Please, if you're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp status, help us to post this event. We'll send the link for the registration link to the event to the chat box now, where they can register for the event. Please post it on your status, post it on Twitter, tag your friends to the event, let them sit and for them to be able to join and enjoy what you are enjoying. Thank you. The hashtag you are using is hashtag Tech Career Topics. And please on Twitter, please let us start posting now. We have 5 minutes to do this, please. And once you are done, please just help us comment in the chat box that we've done it. Thank you as you do. So in the next 5 minutes, please let's go about this. The next will start by 12:45. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. All right. So we can all go on Twitter now and engage. So this time around, we're just using to rest so we can connect. And also we have a special package waiting for everyone that is here to get mentors. And if you are here to network, we have a special package waiting for you at the end of the program. So you can do well also to wait if you are here to get a mentorship and or you want to network, you're at the right place. So all this, you should not get it alone. Let your friends also let them enjoy out of this privilege that you want to enjoy today. So it would be nice for you guys to share it with your friends. So thank you all as you do this. We really appreciate it. And also tag Bincom Dev Center on Twitter at Bincom Dev Center, on Facebook, Bincom Dev Center. The same thing every social media channel. Thank you as you are doing it. Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry, I'm done to that. So the link is so I'll send the link for them to register to the chat box. So yeah. Yes, and also you can help us to repost the YouTube live video because it's live streamed to YouTube also. So in case if they don't want to join, they can watch us live from YouTube also. So any ways that they can do it. Yeah, the second speaker is here already. So you guys should not worry about the second speaker. Just know that we are prepared for you guys to the fullest. So just take this opportunity to go to Twitter now. Please tweet about this event. Tweet about this event. Please let everybody, your friends, let them know about the event. Put it on your WhatsApp status also this minute, please. And as you're doing this, please let us get the feedback on the chat box that you've done it. And also, as you said, if you are here for mentorship, if you want to have a mentorship program, and if you want to have the if you want to network, we have a special package waiting for you at the end of the program. Just wait till after the second speaker has spoken. So thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Okay, so people are watching on YouTube. Okay, that's interesting. Yes, okay, continue. All right. Okay. Thank you all for Moses. Yeah, thank you all for everybody that are commenting. Thank you. So thank you all for us here. So and also the slides to the first speaker, or the slide of the first speaker has been posted to the chat box. If you need it, it's on the chat box for anybody that needs it. So in less than 60 seconds, the second speaker will speak with us. So yeah, don't worry, Godwin, we are here for you. Just post on your Twitter page and let us get a reply and let us know you've posted. So thank you all as you do this. This right? Okay, Amen. Back to you. It's time. Thank you. Time up. Thank you all for that. Thank you. Amen. Back to you.
Thank you, Tolu. Yeah, I think by now everyone has done the needful by posting on their social media platforms. So I think now we should introduce the second speaker, Mr. Matthew Oluwaniyi. So before I introduce him, I want to give a brief bio about our speaker. So Mr. Matthew Oluwaniyi possesses over 15 years experience in providing technical and enterprise solutions for different organizations, ranging from the health sector to the educational and research institutes. He is a cloud architect and also involved in multi-cloud advocacy, like AWS, GCP, Accurate, and Oracle, and agile methodologies like Scrum and design thinking, with the primary purpose of helping individuals and organizations improve quality of life and delivery. Welcome, Mr. Oluwaniyi. Please have the floor now.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Can I get a confirmation that I am audible?
Oh, yes, sir, you are.
Okay, thank you very much. I will just share my screen straight away. Okay. Okay. Okay, I am noticing. Sorry, just give me a moment. Okay, I think we are good to go. Once again, good afternoon, everybody. Like have been introduced, I'm Matthew Oluwaniyi. I will be speaking with us today on in-demand tech skills of the future. And this would actually lead me to first start with appreciating the whole staff and community at Bincom for putting this up. Because I know, and I not just think, I know strongly that we need platforms like this at this very crucial time that a lot of people are talking about tech. Some persons are trying to look at how do I find my way around tech. Even for those who are in tech, they want to be sure if they would still be relevant in the next few years. I would share some opinions along these. I'll share some opinions around this along the line as we go ahead. And I would also say that Mr. Gbolahan has done a very fantastic job. It was actually good that he spoke ahead because he actually had done a fantastic job to lay some foundation and also provide some insight ahead into what I'm going to be speaking about and the direction I'm going to face. Actually, as much as possible, I have to fight off the temptation of coming to deliver a lecture because there's a part of me that also teach. But instead, I would want to speak with you from my heart. I want to speak with you from my heart. I will be sharing some experiences and also share some insights that would help us in this career path that we are into, then also to make a whole lot out of it. Now, for those who would agree with me, we all know that tech is indeed the future. Now, you don't need a prophet, like we're going to stay examine. You don't need a prophet to tell you that tech is the future. Everybody knows now that tech is the future, at least to a very large extent. We know that there is this influence of tech in everything that we are doing, even in the present, but more especially preparing ourselves for the future. We know that tech is the future and it's going to absolutely change the way we do business. It's going to change the way we even live our life. You know, Mr. Gbolahan shared some great details around this. Tech is going to change the whole sphere of human race. For those of you that will even be aware of this, there are some restaurants now that robots are actually the people, or robots are responsible for actually serving people. So you would not get a real human stand to come and serve you. Robots would actually serve you, and goes a whole lot of other ways or other aspects in which tech is actually going to take over the whole sphere of human endeavor. Now, it's important to take note of these. Most of the time, a lot of us, we feel that we are not conscious of the fact that there is tech, even in things that we are involved in at the present, even as we are trying to walk into the future. We need to face that reality. You may not be conscious of, you need to face that reality that there is this dimension of tech in everything that you are involved in, even though you may not actively call it tech, especially for those who are not actively in tech. Because I believe I am going to be, or I'm addressing two categories of people. Persons that are fully in tech already, then some persons that are trying to transition into tech, or they are in the middle line. Now, like I said, I'm going to give myself as an example. For the last 17 years, there had been different dimensions of tech in the job I did. Let me start from when I went to serve. I served in Kebbi State, Nigeria. The school I served in is School of Health Technology, Jega. Immediately I got to the school, the first assignment I had was to set up their network. I'm going to mention some things as we go on. The first assignment I had was to set up their network. Now, they had computers, they had a router for internet facility, but it was just lying there. Nobody was using it. Now, because of my own background knowledge, not just what I read in school, but what I learned as I went through school. And that's one thing you need to take note, that you don't need to have a computer science background before you actually get into tech. Even if you don't have a computer science background or any of the tech background, you can still effectively function in tech. I was checking some job placement put out by Google, and they needed some people to fill some role, and the job description was the person could either be a computer science graduate or have experience in this area. So you find out that even jobs these days, they are looking away from degrees. So you may not have the tech degree, you may not have a computer science degree, but once you have the experience, you can actually start functioning in tech. So like I was saying, you discover that there's this dimension of tech in most of the things that we are involved in. Like I said, my main job then was actually not tech, but I find myself functioning in tech-related field, which I had to set up network for their computers, set up their most of the time, we all know that schools would have what we call computer center. So their own computer center there, just set it up. Now, moving from there, I moved to Lagos, in which I actually got a job as an admin manager of an hospital in Lagos. And the funny thing was, again, my first job as the admin manager in that hospital, you know what it takes when you work with SMEs, that is small businesses. You may come in for a particular role, but you find yourself doing much more than that too. One of the first things I did again was to actually set up the IT unit of the hospital. They had computers, some few computers, and it was just lying there, and we're like, oh, we need to put this to use. Now, because of my experience, I had to step into that shoe, set up the IT unit of the hospital. Then also because of some little experience I have with programming, especially Python, I actually helped them develop a hospital management software with respect to handle booking to see the doctor, patient records, and the rest. Now, that was not my primary responsibility, but it became part of what I did in the process. And after then, moved down to Obafemi University at Center for Distance Learning. I worked there as their program manager. And at the end of the day, I would say this: when you are getting into tech, don't try to look at, or don't try to start from the big and the mighty part. Look at manageable chunks that you can handle, move from there, and make sure you keep progressing. As simple as Excel was, or as simple as Excel is, getting into the Center for Distance Learning at Obafemi University, myself and one of my colleagues, we used that to actually lead a digital transformation process for the establishment. Because I remember that when we came into distance learning, everything was, let me call it analog. It takes them like 2 to 3 weeks. What am I saying? Sometimes up to a month to process results. And when we got on board, they needed the center to be transformed, and we came in to lead the digital transformation for that particular center. And we just made them realize, okay, you guys are not working with big data, so you don't need any of the to use any of the SQL servers or any of those things. Just your basic spreadsheet will do the work. And at the end of the day, they were able to cut down the time of processing results and student data from 3 weeks into 3 days. In fact, we all look, myself and my colleague, we look like a miracle worker. I'm like, it's not anything big. These things are there on almost everybody's laptop. Just put them to use. Now, what am I trying to say is there is a dimension of tech in everything we do, but most of the time, we may not be very conscious of it. And the biggest of all is, Mr. Gbolahan talked about it, COVID came in place. Now, COVID became the rude awakening for businesses, for organizations, for establishments that have been developing cold feet about technology. COVID became the rude awakening. And I would say it became one of my most also challenging and busiest moments with during my whole entire career at the Bafemolo University. You know, I had different calls. Please come help us to set this up. Please come help us to set this up. Please, we need to make this connection. Now, those were not my primary call, even though I consider them my secondary call. But at the end of the day, what am I pushing at? To discover that there is a dimension of tech in everything that we are involved in. Now, realizing that if you as an individual, you are very sensitive to civilization trends, you don't need a prophet to tell you that tech is eventually the future. And this is one of the reasons why you need to begin to position yourself. Don't wait until the time where it comes at your door. Even now, I would say it's already at your door. But don't wait until it comes at your door and at the end of the day, you are not prepared. Remember, like I said, I'm speaking to two categories of persons. Persons that have already stepped into tech and persons that are contemplating stepping into tech. Now, for persons that have already stepped into tech, some of you might actually need to redefine your tech career. I said I'm going to say something. You may need to redefine your tech career. And at the end of the day, and ask yourself, okay, this path I'm currently engaged in, how much of it can it sustain me to the future? Now, tech is disruptive, like Gbolahan made us realize. Now, inside tech, there are developments, there are platforms that are also disruptive. Let me give this example, and please permit me, it's just my opinion. Now, when I was about a year ago, I was looking at some other aspect of tech, some other area of tech. What are the changes I need to make? Do I need to diversify? Do I need to get into some other areas? One of the options that actually came to my table, please, like I said, it's my own personal opinion. It may not be so for some other persons. One of the things that actually came to my table was to consider Salesforce. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Salesforce technology and everything around Salesforce. However, after doing my research, I discovered that for my age, it may not be okay for me to get into Salesforce. Somebody in their 20s can go into Salesforce. But for my age, I may not want to venture into Salesforce because I see Salesforce as a technology that may also be faced with disruption in the next, let me not say few years, maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years ahead. It may be faced with another form of disruption because it's actually a cloud CRM technology, a cloud customer relationship management technology. And it could be faced with any kind of disruption. Other competitors might come that will make them not to be relevant. So that's why I told myself, okay, instead of getting on Salesforce, a younger person can get on Salesforce. They still have a long time. I am not that young. I don't have that long time. They still have a long time. They can work on Salesforce for the next 10 years and Salesforce become obsolete or Salesforce is not relevant again. Then they move into another thing. I don't have that luxury of time. So I decided that, okay, I'm not considering Salesforce. And I told myself, why not I consider the platform that Salesforce is operating on, which is the cloud. And this is what led me into the cloud eventually just about a year ago. So that's why it's very important. You need to sit back and ask yourself, this particular area that for those who are already in tech, that I am already functioning in tech, what future does it hold? Will it be a victim of the eventual disruptions, intra-disruptions that takes place within tech itself? Or for those who are actually contemplating to getting into tech, you need to ask yourself, this aspect of tech I want to get into, will it be able to serve the purpose and the intent I have in mind? Now, let us get sincere with ourselves. No matter how much you want to get into tech, no matter the desire that you have in the tech, the money is still very important. I have a friend in the US, when we're discussing about this, he's always saying, Matthew, get the money in the bag, get the money in the bag. Don't do things that would waste your time. Do things that would get into a particular point where the money starts coming into the bag. Now, when you ask an average person, especially, let me say, in our part of the world, Oh, why are you getting into tech? Because it pays more. One of the reasons I'm getting into tech is because it pays more too, because it's going to give me more financial freedom. It's going to give me more financial resources to do what I want to do. So apart from interest, which we are actually going to consider, you also need to look at, okay, this particular career path in tech I want to embark on, or I'm currently embarking on, do I need to do some reorientation? Do I need to do some do I need to realign myself? Do I need to add up some skills to it? Do I need to transition into another part of tech? And at the end of the day, you need to examine all those things so that you will become relevant. Part of what I'm going to talk about before I conclude is the importance of having a community. I have a tech community. My tech community are actually primarily based in the US, and we meet mostly through Clubhouse. Now, we were having a discussion yesterday, and one of the things that we mentioned, or one of the things I mentioned when I was speaking with them, is to make them realize that the tech industry is very, very dynamic. Very, very dynamic. Tech industry, IT industry, very, very dynamic. To the extent that you can find yourself becoming a former champion. And which means for those who are already in tech, and for those who are planning to get into tech, you must have this at the back of your mind. Should I say at the back of your mind? You must have this at the front of your mind. Very, very essential for you. You must keep evolving. Very essential. I will say it again. You must keep evolving. You can't just think you've gotten to that point, just relax. You must keep evolving. You must keep adding value. You must keep adding value to yourself. You must keep acquiring knowledge. Very, very essential. Because let me give an example. Less than just about a week ago, we were changing up some system in some of the offices. And I was working on some. And eventually, for those who are very aware, most computers now are using, for especially those working with the Windows operating system, they are moving to Windows 11. Now, most persons have been familiar with 10 and previous version. But for those who have used or who are using Windows 11, you discover that the interface is different in some level from your previous Windows. And if you are someone, you don't update yourself on what is happening with respect to the technology, probably you are still the champion of Windows 97. I don't know if anybody still uses Windows 97 anyway. You are still the champion of Windows 97. You are not going to be relevant any longer. So it's very important to take note of this, that one thing you need to put in your mind, and you need to be very, very conscious of, is you must keep evolving. You must keep evolving. Very essential. Now, for the two broad category of tech career paths that you can consider. Now, why I'm coming up with this is I'm considering those who are already in tech and also looking at those who want to transition into tech. There are two broad categories. Now, one of the reasons why we have to look at these two broad categories, for the people that are coming into tech, everybody, we have this mind of, once you are talking about tech, their mind goes into coding. Oh, me, I can't code. Oh, code is, hey, how can I be writing code? All those tiny, tiny figures, and you are trying to, it is threatening to some. In fact, I have people that once they see those things coming up on their screen, probably one of my friends, once they see my screen that I'm pinging some IP addresses, they'll just leave. That it's even threatening them, seeing those tiny, tiny figures running through your screen. How do you know what it means? There are some persons, they are not cut out for that. They don't want code. They don't want anything like code. So that's why it's important to realize that even when you don't like code, you don't want code, you can still be in tech. And that's why there are two broad categories. Remember, I said they are broad category, even though sometimes there could be some overlap. They are broad category. We have the coding tech and we have the non-coding tech. Now, for the coding tech, you're going to be talking about artificial intelligence. You're going to be talking about machine learning. You're going to be talking about web developers. You're going to be talking about front end, back end, full stack. You're going to be talking about app developers. You're going to be talking about computer system engineers. You're going to be talking about cybersecurity, especially there's an aspect that you have to write codes. Now, For people that like to find out why things happen, people that like to dig deep, people that like to create, people that like to develop, people that like to, they just want to work things out, you could actually look into coding tech. And please, let me tell you this. There is no aspect of tech that you cannot do well in. No matter the background you're coming from, there is no aspect of tech that you can do well in. So don't even be afraid, At least one of the things I tell people is, which we're still going to consider, is just check it out. Try to do some work on it. Try and see how much you can cover under those trainings. Now, for the non-coding aspect of tech, you can decide to be a product manager. You can decide to follow the path of a project manager. You can decide to be a technical writer, especially when you are trying to look at your background skills, which Mr. Gbolahan talks about transferable skills. When you are looking at your transferable skills, you can begin to look at what are the skills I can bring in. Probably, I have been a let me look at a particular career path. Probably I've been a banker. What are the transferable skills I can take in to now come in and come and eat the tech cake? Let me put it that way. To come and eat the tech cake, because tech is the future. And we also have the Scrum Master. We also have the Scrum Master or product owner. We have the UI UX. We have the business analyst, digital marketing manager. We have the data analyst, and we have the cybersecurity. And I talked about cybersecurity. For cybersecurity, you can have the coding aspect of cybersecurity. You can have the non-coding aspect of cybersecurity, that is the administrative aspect of cybersecurity, where you deal on policies, you deal on governance, you deal on risk, you deal on compliance, you deal on data privacy and data privacy and data protection. All those things, they don't require code, just some basic administrative knowledge. So it's very important, this broad category. Now, take note of something. Somebody that knows me very closely and knows me very well will be very surprised that there's actually a particular career path that I did not include in coding tech or non-coding tech, and that is cloud. And I did it on purpose. One of the reasons I did not involve or include cloud in the coding tech or non-coding tech is because it can actually fall in any of the paths. Now, when you talk about cloud computing is not just a single career. Cloud computing is a category of careers in the cloud. So it's very important when you talk about cloud computing, you are looking at different aspects. You can actually be a cloud engineer. You can actually be DevOps. I was speaking with one of my friends in Canada, and she's in DevSecOps, that is development, security, and operations. So, there are different career paths, even with cloud computing. Then you can actually be a cloud architect, which is actually the path I'm into. You can be a cloud architect. Then you can also function as a cloud security engineer. There are different aspects which you can decide to go on. And out of all these, the least career path in cloud that has anything to do with coding is your cloud architect. Now, when you function as cloud architect, you don't really have much to do with coding. But if you have a coding background or you have a little bit of coding knowledge, is a big plus, but it doesn't really have much to do with coding. So it's very important to take note of that. Now, because of our time, we need to ask ourselves the question, how do I discover my tech career pathway? Now, this is applicable to both those who are already in tech and those who are trying to transition into tech, or those who are confused about their tech career. Probably you have been doing, maybe you have been doing data analysis and you feel there should be something more. If you're like me, there should be something more. There should be something more. And you're trying to look at what are the parts I can get involved in. So you need to now ask yourself, how do I discover my tech career pathway? Either I'm rediscovering or I'm discovering afresh. These are the things I want us to quickly consider in the shortest possible available time. Now, you can use a mix of the following approach. When you are trying to look at how do I discover my tech career pathway, you can use a mix of the following approach. You can ask yourself, what is in demand approach? That is, what is in demand? Look at what is in demand. What is in demand? Probably you look at your country, Mr. Gbolahan, there's a part of Mr. Gbolahan that I relate with very well. If you check some of my profile, especially on some platform, I'm always making mention of this, that I am a global citizen. I can't pick up a skill that will not have a global application because I am a global citizen. I wanted that anywhere I get into, my skill is relevant. So that's why it's very important. You need to ask yourself, what is in demand? You can use what is in demand approach. When you are trying to find out what are the career paths that I need to go into, you need to look at what is in demand. What are the things that are in demand? And that's one of the reasons I shared my opinion. Remember, like I said, it is my personal opinion based on research anyway, but I still consider it my personal opinion. One of the reasons why, for my age, I decided not to get into Salesforce. Salesforce is hot, I will tell you. If you get a very good training, exposure, experience, and certification in Salesforce, and you have Salesforce, on your LinkedIn, you have Salesforce optimized on your LinkedIn, employers will actually come looking for you. Very sincere. I'm speaking from interacting with employers. They will come looking for you because Salesforce at the moment is hot. Salesforce is hot. However, like I said, because of my own age and what I have seen, personally, I don't see Salesforce lasting very long. It could say the next 10 years, the next 15 years, but I don't want to dabble into that because I don't see myself trying to change career again in the next 15 or 20 years. Because like I said, I feel there could also come up some CRM, cloud-based technology that may make Salesforce not to be relevant again. It's a business world and businesses are trying to outsmart themselves and it's very competitive. So that's why I said for that, it is my own opinion. And that's why if I'm going to advise, I would advise people younger to get involved in Salesforce, make the money out of it, And when it's time to transition. But for my age, I would not do that because I am approaching 50 already. Okay. So then after you look at what is in demand, you now also look at what syncs with my personality and purpose. There are some persons, they are not really big on data. Data scares them, At the mention of the name of data, they are afraid. No, you need to find out what syncs with your personality, what syncs with your purpose. Now, if you are the kind of person that you are a people person, you like to interact with people, now you need to begin to look at career paths that has to do with interacting with people, that has to do with providing leadership. And that's why you should begin to consider Scrum. Look at career path that has to do with people, that you interact with people. And there are some persons, they don't want to see people. They want to see their assistant. They want to interact with their assistant. They want to, how do I put it? They want to provision virtual machines and solve problems. They don't just want to talk to anybody. That is them. Those ones can do very well in any of the engineering aspect. They can do well in cloud engineering. That you don't need to talk to any person, just receive instruction of what to do and go ahead to do it. Whereas there are some persons, they want to talk to people. So you need to find out from all this, what is in demand. What is in demand will bring a whole lot of field to you in which you can now decide, because you can't do everything. You now look at which one of these that is in demand actually syncs with my personality, syncs with my purpose. And please always take note of these. Always tie up especially when you are putting up your summary for your resume, always tie up your summary to link up with your personal purpose. My own personal purpose is to help people become the best in life, make the best out of life. I always tie up my tech career into that. So it's very important to take note of that. Then once you look into this, before you begin to make your final decision, you streamline. Now you are streamlining down to some few career paths in tech that you can consider. You need to actually speak with the tech mentor. I appreciate Bincom for what they are doing. They're already talking about mentoring. I will tell you this, you can't go far in tech without a mentor. Very, very essential. You need to look for someone that has a better exposure, that had been in tech earlier than you, that can provide insights into what you don't even see. So it's very important. Look for a tech mentor. I have my own mentor. I have my own mentor. And funny thing, my mentor has her own mentor. So it's just important to realize that there is nobody that just stays on their own. You know, I have a mentor, and my mentor has 30 years experience in tech. She has 30 years experience in tech. She's a pro. She has 30 years experience in tech. She's based in the US. And when we discuss, she talks about our own mentors too. So it's very important to realize that when it comes to tech, you cannot go far without a mentor. So speak with a mentor, let them guide you, listen to them. Remember, you have done your own background work before, then listen to them so that they can either revalidate or help you to restructure the options and the thoughts you have with respect to what you want to either rediscovering your career path or freshly discovering your career path. Then I would actually encourage have an experimental phase or period. Now, your experimental phase or period at the time in which you try out your hands on any of those areas, on any of those career paths in tech that you have streamlined into. Let me also share my sentiment. I would always say this, and I believe some of you would understand it very well. There is an aspect of tech that you can never go wrong, and that's in data. Every business is a business of data, no matter what. Hospitals, bank, manufacturing, every business is a business of data. And that's why I always encourage, when you are getting into tech, have a primary and a secondary part. Now, your secondary part should actually help reinforce your primary part. As an individual, my primary part is cloud. My secondary part is data. And that's why if you check for my profile on LinkedIn, you always see I'm a cloud architect with a data background, because I have done a lot of work on data in the past, even when I was not intentionally getting into tech. So it's very important to look at what are the areas I can do, so that at the end of the day, you know, it's not the system and the world we have found ourselves in. You can't have 100% assurance on some things. So that at the end of the day, wherever you find yourself, okay, for instance, I discovered that I want to work as a cloud architect, or I'm working as a cloud architect. Okay, I transition, move to another location, or move into something else and decide, okay, I want to suspend my work as cloud architect. I have some gigs coming in for data analysis, especially on big data. I have some gigs coming in. I can just do that. And at the end of the day, and please take note of this. If a very important advice I must give, if you are taking data in any dimension as your primary skill, I want to encourage you, if you are going to go far, please add cloud to it. You must be able to work on your data in the cloud. That is when you will be different from the average data analyst that is all over the place. I always encourage people, if you are a data analyst and you can carry out your data skills in the cloud, you still have some growth to do. So I'm going to encourage you, if you're a data analyst, you're involved in data science, and you can't function on the cloud, you need to redefine your career path, because it's very, very essential. You can't do big data on your system. When you would need your system to work with 100% or 100 times the speed or 100 times the capacity it currently works, you need to get into the cloud. You need to get into the cloud. So that's why it's very, very important to take note of that. So like I said, experiment, get into the experimental phase or the experimental period, you know, experiment to different aspects. I've experimented with a whole lot before I eventually decided that I'm staying with cloud, and not just cloud, before I decided that I'm staying and I will keep functioning as a cloud architect. So it's very important to take note of these, that get into the experimental phase. Now, the experimental phase will help you actually discover your strengths, discover some extra skills that you have, discover some other things. Then as you go on, please take note of this. You should be able to develop the capacity to project your future when it comes to your tech career. Now, I'm a person, I am not fully, or let me say I'm not very big on AI and ML, that is on artificial intelligence and machine learning. But I discovered that artificial intelligence and machine learning, they are also the future of tech. And even though I may not be directly working in a career in machine learning or artificial intelligence, but I know that as long as I'm in the cloud, I would have some things to do with artificial intelligence and machine learning. And that's why I decided to have the basic certification from Microsoft, that's Microsoft AI. I decided to have that certification. I had a certification not because I want to present that certification for a job. No, I did it for my personal development and also personal preservation for my tech career. And because I know that very soon I'm going to be sitting on some boards of some AI companies. I'm going to be sitting on some boards. And if I'm sitting on boards of AI companies, I should know the basics of AI. I should know the basics of machine learning. So it's very important to be able to project into what is the future of this career path that you are involved in. And what are the things you can start doing to also work on your own self-preservation for your future career. And please, from this point, I would say cut out the noise. I'm going to calm down a little bit. I'm going to say this very slowly. Please cut out the noise. There should be a stage. Now, this might be more relevant to people that are already in a career pathway with respect to tech. And also people that are trying to transition into tech, please take note of this. You would need this in retrospect. Cut out the noise. There is a stage that you are going to get to that you don't jump on any tech opportunity that comes your way. Otherwise, you're not going to go far. Now, there is a whole lot of shout about tech on social media. You cannot do every tech training. You cannot do every tech certification. You can't go into every tech opportunity that comes. That's why you need to begin to learn to cut out the noise. I'll be very sincere with you. Because I'm a kind of person, I like to gather skills. I don't know how many of you actually also saw the opportunity. Some few months ago, I decided, I've been seeing it since late last year, but some few months ago, I decided to actually get on board the training, Anaplan, the Anaplan software. Now, after about a month of going through Anaplan training, I told myself, okay, in as much as anything cloud, as an individual, anything cloud catches my attention. In as much as Anaplan is cloud-based, I don't think I would really have anything to do with Anaplan at the moment, and it will not in any way add any value to me. I personally wrote to the organizers of the training and requested for their permission to get out of the training because I have other things that are demanding on my time, because I realized that it has become a noise for me. So you need to realize noise and cut them off. Your friend will tell you, hey, there's opportunity for this certification. Oh, it's online. Quickly register and do the certification. If you discover it's a noise, let them go out with the certification. You stay focused. That's why I would say, always remember, cut out the noise. You can't do, there are 1,001 certifications. You can't do all. You need to realize which one do you need, and please cut out the noise, because sometimes the noise will sound very interesting. Oh, this certification costs $500 and now they are giving it free for 1 week. Cut out the noise. Very, very essential to do that. Then also be intentional and focus on your eventual career path. Remember, I said cut out the noise. So by the time you cut out the noise, focus on your eventual career path. Be the best in it. I was discussing with, for those who are very familiar with cloud, you know Michael Gibbs. I was discussing with Michael Gibbs, and I was letting him to realize that one of my goals is to be one of the best cloud architects in the world. So as a result, I need to be focused to do that. You can't share yourself all over the place. You keep sharing yourself. Anaplan come, you do it. And cloud engineering come, you do it. And data science come, you do it. And which other one? Another particular field come, Salesforce come, you do it. At the end of the day, even when you put all these ones on your social media, you think it's going to impress people that are employees? No, it shows you're a confused person. It shows you don't even know what you are doing. At the end of the day, what are they going to employ you for? Only you on your profile, there's Salesforce, there's Anaplan, there is Cloud Solution Architect, there is AWS, there is Anaplan, there is which different one. employers will not even know the particular directions to look at. And at the end of the day, even I'm talking more of LinkedIn because I relate well with LinkedIn. Even with LinkedIn algorithm, you are even confusing the LinkedIn algorithm. So the algorithm doesn't even know where to show you up in, because there is nothing particular, specific, and directed about the career path that you are looking into. So it's very important, be intentional and focus on your eventual path. Then, very essential, please be committed to at least one tech community. You can't run this alone. Remember I said it's an evolving world. You can't run this alone. Be committed to at least one tech community. I'm going to stop here. Thank you very much for your time. I believe and I hope I've not gone too much beyond the time. And please be very free to reach out to me. If you need any help, you need to be connected. Like, I'm very free. I always link up people with my own mentor, because she actually played a lot of role in my own career path in tech eventually. So please be very free to reach out to me. Any advice I have, I would give. Any link I have, I would give. Any opportunity that comes, I always say, opportunity comes my way. Not all of them I can access. So people that I know, okay, I know of somebody that is wanting to get very deep into machine learning, I'll send it to him. Oh, I know this person that has been talking about Salesforce, I send it to her. So please, let's get in touch. Thank you very much, and the whole of Bincom for this opportunity. I would yield my mic at this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I think it's time for questions. So if you have questions, please kindly indicate in the chat box that you have a question. Any questions, please? You can write it on the chat box, or you can just raise your hands to indicate you have a question.
All right, Mark. Okay.
Hello, no question. Okay, Elijah can ask a question now. Elijah, you can go first. Elijah, can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you. I'll
Okay.
prefer typing the telephone.
Okay. While you're typing, I think Majid has a question, so you can ask a question, Majid.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Okay, so you can speak. Hello, Itoa, if you have a question.
Like the second, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm talking. Okay, thank you. So, like the last speaker just said, he said something that caught my attention. Like, I can't remember his exact words, but I guess my question is this: of course, we all want skills that in 10 years from now we still want to have a job and something we're doing. You don't want to learn a skill now, and 10 years from now, you're 10 or 15 years, you're out of a job because your skill is, outdated. So how do we avoid that? Because tech is very funny. What seems as if in my last, thank God for Corona. Thank God for Corona. Who knew that Zoom would blow this much? You never can tell what's going to happen in the future. How do we deal with that? I really don't want to. I really, really don't want to learn a skill now, because I don't see myself as an entrepreneur. I like to how am I sure? Like, how can I be sure that this thing is the right way to go? That's what I want to know.
Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, you can go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Remember, when it comes to discovering what tech skills to get involved in that at least would be around considerable for some considerable time. Number one, let's establish the fact that nothing is permanent, but some things may outlast others. I would encourage first, do an extensive research, especially if it's an emerging field that recently emerged. Look at what category of technology. I gave an example of Salesforce. Salesforce is a CRM technology that is just based in the cloud. And when it comes to CRM technology, there would always be different package that would come up. There will always be different platform that would come up. And remember, it's a competition. Each one would want to outsmart each other. We may say Salesforce may not survive the next 15 years. Actually, when you go online to check, you will see a lot of people talk about this too. It's not just my own sentiment. Some other people have that sentiment. You may say Salesforce might not last the next 15 years, and Salesforce might actually stay the next 40 years, which is a function of the people behind the business. Because remember, when it comes to tech, there's the technical part, there's the business part. So you may have a good technical platform, but a very bad business owners that are not able to sustain the business. And you may also have a good business platform, but not a very strong and evolving technology to be able to sustain the challenges and the competition that is in the tech industry. So I would say one of the things you can do your research. Do your research, speak to people, listen to others talk about it. Listen to others talk about it, share people's opinion, then make your own personal decision. However, it's important to take note of this. Let me give an example of Salesforce, like I said. If eventually you get involved in Salesforce and Salesforce goes obsolete in the next 10 years, I will tell you, you have not lost anything. Why? Now, there are transferable skills. Remember, I said that it is a CRM cloud-based technology. You are going to move your transferable CRM skills on a cloud-based platform into another particular field that you will get into. One thing we know that CRM is here to stay, customer relationship management softwares and platforms. However, different technologies would make use of it in different ways. So once you have that exposure, once you have that skills, you can always transfer that skills to another platform or another company in case Salesforce becomes obsolete. So just have that at the back of your mind. So eventually you don't really lose anything, but you may just need to now transition into another platform or into another technology that uses CRM. Hope that helps.
Yes, sir. Perfectly, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bless you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that. I think someone else has a question. I saw someone hands up. Elijah, have you written down your question on the chat box?
I'll check the chat box.
Yes.
There are questions on the chat box.
Okay.
There are questions from
Sorry, Mr.
Majid, Ridwan, and Elijah. Questions are there.
Okay, I think there's a question from Ridwan. He asked, how does one get a reliable mentor? That's a question, sir.
I think I will speak about it, and I would also love Gbolahan to speak about this so that we can have different perspective and approach into getting a mentor. Then I also think there are some other questions there for Mr. Gbolahan being the first speaker. Now, from my own end, how do you select a mentor? Now, let me give you my own example. I have various categories of mentor. I have a general tech mentor that has a large experience in tech. Now, she may not directly mentor me in my specific field, but once it comes to tech, I look up to her because she also has a circle. Now, how do you decide who your mentor is? You need to get out into the tech community and listen to people talk. Listen to people talk, Once you listen to anybody talk and you feel that, okay, I think I have a connection with this person, check out the person's background. Find out, will this person have what it takes to provide mentorship for me? Very, very essential. Don't, there's what we used to call audio money in Nigeria. Don't go and meet an audio tech person that only talks about tech and does not have any experience or exposure. And some people also, very funny. I meet people, I stay in student environment, and I meet students that write how to sack your boss when you are still a student. You've not done anything, you've not been in any job, and you want to sack. How do you write? You only wrote from a theoretical perspective, or a student that you are still struggling to get out of school, how to make your first 1 million, and you've not even made 1,000 naira. No, that does not work when it comes to mentoring. So when it comes to mentoring, you want somebody that has walked that path. You know that, okay, this person has walked the path he's talking about, and I think I can listen to him. So remember, like I said, you need to get into the pool for where tech events take place, to listen to people talk about tech, then also get on social media, look at what people are posting. So once you begin to, it's going to take a little bit of time. Don't rush into picking a mentor. Once you look into, okay, this person has consistently been talking about software engineering, software development. This person has consistently been talking about front end. This person has consistently been talking about machine learning, artificial intelligence. Then go back into the profile of the person, check out the person, find out, okay, is this person somebody that I will be able to relate to? Then reach out to the person. Reach out to the person. Or if it's someone that actually runs a community, join the person's community, be involved in the community. And at the end of the day, there are ways someone can become your mentor. People can become your mentor by officially reaching out to you to tell you, hey, please, I want you to be my mentor. Then people can also become your mentor via association. You associate with them over time. The natural just takes place that, okay, I think this person automatically becomes my mentor, even without officially going through, I want you to become my mentor process. And I think I actually prefer that. And well, anyway, could actually work. Mr. Gbolahan, please, could you also share your thoughts on this?
Okay, thank you. I will just try to simplify the thoughts, because there's actually a thought pattern. For you to ask the question, that means you're already thinking in that line. And I appreciate your presentation. It shows it actually get down to the minds of our listeners. I will categorize the process of identifying mentors into two broad categories. You have the formal process and you have the informal process. The informal process, which I will start from, talks about how you socialize. You can easily identify mentors from within communities, just like what you talked about. And the question is, where are your communities? You might have your virtual communities, you might have physical communities, like you joining Bincom, or as simple as being on LinkedIn. Interestingly, in the past 1 year, about between 50 and 55% of my mentees, I got them via LinkedIn. Just unanimously, someone would just send a message and like, oh, I love what you do, I love your space and all of that. Can we just have a chat? And from there, we just enroll into my mentorship program, because I have my organization have a mentorship program. So it starts from such simple social environments. Then when you're talking about formal process, there's usually a process by which you approach people, because look at the profile, look at the figure of the people you want to be your mentor. There are people that you cannot naturally approach them in a casual way. Of course, imagine if you want Elon Musk to be your mentor, or you want a professor in Harvard University who is doing so well in that discipline to be your mentor. You have to understand the way you need to organize yourself in such a way that you are acceptable when you approach. Okay, so you need to understand those formal process, starting from you putting together your perspective, your understanding of your purpose, like Matthew actually x-rayed that. He did so well in explaining to you how you need to understand your purpose. And of course, have a focus for you to have a personal channel to which you want to pursue your tech career. So you need to put this into perspective for you to be able to approach the right mentor. Like what I tell all my mentees, having a mentor is not just sufficient, but having the right mentor, because there are people who their mentor have actually derailed them in life, not because they are not good mentors, but because they are not the right mentor for them. So you need to understand the importance of the integrity aspect of mentorship. People are so good on their job. Okay, you see the results, you see their product out there, but the question is, are they good for you? The area of you understanding not just only the technical skills of your mentor, but also the social skills, as simple as empathy. Okay, so you need to understand all these dynamics in order for you to be able to make the right choice of your mentor. And nothing, you can even make it a plan. You can make it as a game plan. Probably maybe a space of 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. I want to have a mentor. What should you do? One, have a list of those people. Do background check. Like I used to tell people on LinkedIn, when you send a message to me for the first time and I'm getting to know you for the first time, sorry, I'm not going to give you an appointment immediately because I want to do a background check on you. Okay, a lot of things happen on social media, so you don't just want to relate to people casually. So you want to do a background check, and from there, you know whether the person has a right intention in approaching you for whatever cause or for whatever intention. Okay, so from there you can now establish further conversation. And interestingly, technology also comes in. I have, in fact, I was moved to use some pay scheduling tools, tech tools, for me to be able to organize this aspect of my life, mentorship. Okay, I have tools like Candly, like Stokely, like what's it called? This other one. I have like about 4 different scheduling tools, so I cannot get it wrong when it comes to scheduling appointment with people, and of course, mingling between different endeavors. So you can look into all this so that when you're approaching whoever you are aiming to be your mentor, you know how to approach them meaningfully and you get results.
All right, thank you
Over
so
to
much.
you, Modrico. Okay.
So, okay, we have a question for you, Mr. Gbolahan, from Elijah. I think his first question is, what is the future of tech for emerging economics in terms of early adoption traction? How far are we from catching up? I hope you got that. Or you want me to
I
repeat
did.
again?
No, it's fine. I've already put it on my screen. Okay, let me try to, because I went through the question, and at least for the sake of other listeners, let me try to simplify in the context of what I presented. Okay, it's a broad issue that Elijah actually brought up, talking about emerging economies. I've done quite a number of research on that. Okay, and my conclusion, especially in the event of what happened recently in our economy, I've termed Nigeria to be a stagnant economy, honestly. As at 24 hours ago, the current sitting Minister of Economy, for as many of us who are conversant with political trends in Nigeria, you saw what she said. Okay, it's annoying. Okay, it's showing that our leaders are not, they don't have foresight, they are not future-minded leaders, and honestly, they are not the right set of leaders we should have. Okay, number one, you need to first of all understand what emerging economy is all about. Okay, if you want to work within that space, remember I mentioned about the 4 different areas you can use your tech tools, you can move your tech skills into. Okay, which economies, what's it called? We talked generally about the economy of the space. So if you need to move into emerging economy, you have developed economy, you have stagnant economy like Nigeria, there are things that you can get away with, like certain skills that you don't necessarily need, as it were, because even if you have those skills, you won't be able to use them because the enabling environment is not there. Okay, so if you are operating in such a stagnant economy, you need to understand the kind of tech skills that is required. If you are working in developed economy like in Brazil, okay, you are working in a place like India, you're working in a place like UAE, Saudi Arabia, and all the Emirates and all of that, you need to understand the trends peculiar to each of these economies, because okay, when you go to Dubai to work, they have the economic terms. Okay, so you need to understand what's applicable. Like, I think I found out a few days ago, a friend of mine trying to reach out to me, or I was trying to reach out to him, unfortunately could not connect with him because he's not on social media. and I got to realize I was in Dubai. So there are some economies where certain technologies are not acceptable. Like in Nigeria, blockchain technology is not totally acceptable. There are policies that regulate unnecessarily the use of blockchain, like cryptocurrency and all of that. So you need to understand some of the technologies that have restrictions or constraints for application in those technologies. So you need to understand that by when you analyze what emerging economy and the countries have. Then talking about how skills, also called the kind of tech skills or the kind of applications of these skills that are obtainable in those economies. Number one, as it were, either in developed, underdeveloped, stagnant, or emerging economy, the future of tech is global. Honestly, it's global. Like I told you in my presentation, Elon Musk is already thinking in moving into Nigeria's stagnant economy, which can revolutionize the whole economy. Imagine if Elon Musk Starlink comes to Nigeria and give availability, probably maybe free access to internet. It automatically redefine our economy. It's automatically redefine it. So meaning that some of the technological skills that we feel are not obtainable at the moment, at the twinkle of an eye, can become high demand, can become of highest importance and highest relevance. And that's why what I would advise to you really is be a global tech professional. Be conversant with the global tech trend. Okay, I can maybe by the time I'm done with it, I can just put up some of these outlook research and growth developments in tech for you to, you have just to subscribe to some of these journals and some of these information so that you will see how things are evolving, how things are happening every day. Okay, so you need to upskill in those areas, whether you are using them optimally or you are using them in transient time and all of that. Be informed. Okay, so that if there's need for transition within the economy, now we are complaining about Nigeria. In the next 1-2 months or few weeks, a miracle can happen. Honestly, a disruption can come again, change the whole story. And the question is, when things happen, when disruption happen, like COVID-19, like the Ukraine issue, nobody ever expected that Russia and Ukraine crisis will transcend into Nigeria, will translate into our economy being affected. And it happens to all other economy that is majorly dependent on consumption. Okay, so you need to understand these economic principles for you to be able to determine the kind of skill among all the ones that we have expressed to you about the future tech skills that are required as a global citizen working within the tech industry, for you to be able to know which one is applicable in the particular emerging economic country. I wouldn't know if that answered the first question. I think there's a second question that talks about
yes, sir. That answers skills. The first question, sir.
Okay. So you're talking about the technological timelines and how it matches up with the decline. Okay, of course, like I said, the economic ecosystem of each country or each region is what determines the acceptability of technology. Okay. Interestingly, for as many of us who are conversant with the trends and timelines in technology, you realize that some of these technologies that we are even open to acquire skills within the space. I mean, there are things already existing. Like I used to talk to some of my friends in tech space that, see, if you are really working in tech, you just have to follow certain tech industries. You have to follow certain tech companies, okay, because they are more like pioneers of innovations and creativity in the tech industry. Talk about NASA, okay? Talk about Elon Musk's companies, okay? Not just only Tesla, all of these companies, okay? They have this policy of innovation and creativity. So they always emerge new trends. So you have to follow these people. You have to follow either as their personality figure, how they, or the companies that they operate or they manage. You have to follow them to see what is happening. Like I was talking to some friends 2 weeks ago about space tech, and they were like, "But you are not working in that community. How do you know about space tech?" I said, because I follow them. In as much as I'm not going to acquire any skill about aerospace and all of that, but I'm informed. In case if I'm to transit into that space, I already have a background of information or knowledge that will give me a quick access to acquire whatever skills I need. Now, I keep telling people, because I operate within
the tech space and built industry too. There's this ongoing innovation, and tech is causing a lot of ongoing innovation. I just did a course again last week, for me to be able to get a footing in that space. And one thing I learned is the fact that now people are talking about building, Nigeria is currently battling with housing deficit. Already developed economy are talking about how to transit from Earth to Mars, how to transit from Earth to Moon, to go and start building in Moon, okay? So that if the effect of climate change starts, look at what is happening about wildfire. Look at what is happening about raging fire in all of Europe, in all of UK, US. All of these countries are being, being affected with climate change, and it seems as if the leaders are clueless. All the mitigating risk mitigating processes are not working. So people are already thinking about the future of how to take technology to the space for people to have livable environments, so that if at the end of the day some collapse on Earth, there's already a future in space, there's already a future in Moon, there's already a future in Mars. How do you get to know some of these things while you are still trying to walk around the local opportunity that are there? You need to get yourself out there and the opportunity to information. By then, you'll be able to keep up with the timelines that will keep changing. Honestly, the timeline keep changing. It's progressive. So you have to keep up with the pace at which it changes. The third question talks about, okay, you try to project a thought of Clayton Christensen. Well, yeah, still talking about disruption. I think I did justice in explaining VUCA D to you, okay? Whatever is happening within disruptive industry, any of the disruptive industries, whatever is happening, okay, is being facilitated by technical processes, okay? Either the technical processes is consistent or also it keeps changing, depends on the mode of operation of the people who work within that space. I've worked in some technological industrial projects in such a way that right from the project initiation phase, okay, there was this scope definition that says there is a major time phase for this particular product that we're about to bring out, okay? There's a particular, that scope was well defined. There's a timeline specified for this to function, okay? So you are not doing something that you expect to be sustainable. You are doing something to just cause a little disruption and then it closes out. So you have those kind of processes. So how do you navigate between the ones that are consistent and the ones that are not consistent? I think that is where individual skills comes in, because like I said, it goes beyond just even acquiring technological skills, the technical skills. The aspect of social and power skills are there as well, okay? Talk about empathy, talk about your ability to reason, your ability for creative thinking, your ability to be observant, your ability to be at alert at all times, okay? So that when there is an introduction of a new product that is going to, of course, this one also talks about marketing skills. When there's an introduction of a new product that will cause and hamper the success of your own product that's already in the market, okay, how do you mitigate the effect of that? So all of this put together is what will help you to navigate through the disruptions that the progressive changes happening in technology will not totally affect you. There are some people that they are always thrown out there each time there's a new disruption. As a tech professional, you should not always be thrown off it when there's any new thing happening. Like Matthew said, we used to use Windows 97, from there moves to Windows 2000 to 23 and all of that. Now we have Windows 11 and all of that. So how many people are following? Yeah. How many people are following through all of these processes? Okay, how many people are really getting themselves becoming relevant consistently? Because that is the issue. You must be consistent. So how many people are so it's more like a personal skill, a power skill that you need to learn or acquire in such a way that, like I tell people, there is nothing I can learn except it is not aligned with my purpose or aligned with my passion. There is nothing, absolutely nothing. My background, if I tell you, if you look at some of my colleagues, okay, they are not working in the space where I work. I work in diverse, just like I was talking to someone about metaverse again, and they were like, come on, how do you understand metaverse and how metaverse operates? Okay, so the truth of the matter is it gives you a leverage, unusual leverage. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to stay put in those industries, but it gives you a leverage. Once it's like you need a key to open the door to where you are going to. This fundamental information and understanding are those keys that will give you leverage. When things are being disrupted, people are like trying to find their loins. You already open the door and you move on and you keep moving. Those are power skills, and those are the things that you need to begin to seek for. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
We have questions for the second speaker, Mr. Matthew.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There's one of the questions here says, what's your take on specific diversification of career paths, most especially for emerging developing countries where the demand and gap between labor and skills keep widening? Let me start with this, or from this perspective. I have not officially gotten involved in a specific research, but from evaluations, we all know that, especially because of the current ASU strike, there's a lot of drive, a lot of people are running into technology, picking up trainings. There's a lot of boot camps. But from my observation, because I also have some students, and from my observations, I discovered that a lot of people think tech is the escape route for laziness, or tech is a way to quickly make that money very fast, without working. Don't work, it's an escape route. But let me tell you this.
Yeah.
You will sweat it out, but the money will come to the back. The money will come to you will sweat it out. The money will come. I can't tell you the amount of sleepless night I go through personally. So it's very, very essential to realize that forget about
Mr. Matthew, your mic is off. We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Oh, so I've been talking to myself. Sorry about that. Okay.
No, we the clubs.
Okay. So like I was saying, it's very important to realize that even though there seems to be a lot of drive towards everybody getting into tech, and like I said, this has been promoted by the ASU strike. More younger people are always pushing into getting into tech, but you discover that a lot of people feel that tech seems to be, they think tech is an escape route for laziness, an escape route to make quick money. And at the end of the day, a lot of persons don't eventually follow through when they see the hard work. There is hard work in tech, but like I said, it is going to bring the money to the bag. It's going to bring the money to the bag. So going back to this, I just needed to make mention of that. Going back to this, it's very important to take note of this. I am very impressed and very happy with Mr. Gbolahan's perspective on our economy, especially for those of us in Nigeria. It's not something I like to talk about. It's not something I like to think about, because I'm also working on protecting my mind and protecting my state of mind. However, it's important to take note of this. In all reality, I'm going to pick a particular career path to use to explain what I want to talk about. Scrum Master. Some 2-3 years ago, Scrum Master actually became very popular in Nigeria, 2, 3, 4 years ago, that almost everybody in the bank, especially in the banking sector, are training to become Scrum Master. But you'll be very surprised. Well, I know it's not just Scrum Master, but that was very ridiculous. I saw an advert for a Scrum Master position, and the salary was 90,000 naira. I was like, what's this? 90,000 naira Scrum Master, and it looks as if oh, they have watered down this, but I think it's just generally it has to do with our whole economy. Now you discover that some few weeks ago, I don't know the organization, but it seems to be maybe people that are involved in the banking industry. They were actually complaining that companies are taking away their software developers. Why? Because they are looking for a greener pastures. They are looking for a better work environment, a work environment where people will be valued. So it's important, I would say this, as someone involved in tech, if you find yourself in the Nigerian economy, kind of economy, like Gbolahan said, I will actually encourage you that it's even more becomes very important to look at a primary skill and a secondary skill. Very, very essential. Like I would always encourage, look at something that can also get you remote jobs. Look at skills that can get you remote jobs. Very, very essential. Look at skills that can get you remote jobs. Even though there are some remote jobs that, even though they say it's remote jobs, I've seen a lot of that. For instance, they'll say, oh, this job is a remote job, but it must be based in the US. Oh, this job is a remote job, but it must be based in the UK. There are also some remote jobs that they don't bother about wherever you are based in. So look at some other skills that you can acquire that can allow you to work remotely, especially with the kind of economy you find yourself. However, I need to add this to it. Please don't allow the environment you find yourself to mold you. Develop yourself beyond your environment. Let me give an example. Where it may be shocking to some persons, where I currently work does not actually require some particular tech skills, but I have to acquire them because I consider myself a global citizen. I don't want to live where I currently work, then I now start looking at what are the skills I now need to acquire. No, I acquire some skills that are not even currently needed. They are not currently needed. I'm even going to be the one to bring those skills into the workplace to tell them, no, that, okay, if we apply this, we are going to get this kind of result. It is not needed for my promotion. Me bringing that skills is not needed for my promotion. But I need to acquire those skills because I know, number one, I'm a global citizen. Then number two, I may find myself in a position or in a situation or with an opportunity where that particular skill is required. So I'm just going to say that a little. Then with respect to the second question that says, with respect to technological career adoption for Africa, what's the way out for emerging techies lacking access to profitable opportunities? I underline and bold that word, profitable opportunities. Still very related to where I'm coming from. Why would a software engineer leave his job in a Nigerian bank and move to the UK? Why would a Scrum Master leave his job with an organization in Lagos or in Abuja and move to Dubai? Is because of profitable opportunities. And one of the things I'm just going to say without missing word is prepare yourself for those opportunities before they come. Don't just, Gbolahan talked about making sure that you keep developing yourself, especially in that particular area, so that once those opportunities come, you are taking advantage. Now, one key word or one key, how do I put it now? One key approach I'm going to make mention of is this. Those opportunities that you think are more profitable than what you have, go online and search for those roles and ask yourself if you have all it takes to fill up that role. If you find out the opportunity you are looking at, even though you already have the base qualification, you now discover that, okay, they would require a little knowledge about SQL, SQL. as much as possible, go and pick up some basic SQL skills. If you discover that, oh, this opportunity I'm looking at, even though I'm not in the cloud, they are always asking for at least foundational certificate in cloud computing, like the ones offered by AWS, offered by Azure, offered by GCP, the foundational certification, please go for it, because it's all about preparing yourself. Do you know one thing I discovered? No matter how much you think there are no opportunities where you are now, just make yourself a shining gold. Keep brushing up. Keep adding value to yourself. The opportunities will come. Let me just stop here because of time, in case there's any other things to add to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And
thank you, sir.
Is there any other question? If you have any question, please raise up your hand, or you can type it on the chat box. Okay, I think I have a question for Mr. Matthew. Yes, and while you were speaking, you said something about if you have like leadership skills, you should consider being a Scrum Master. And currently, I think the beginning of this month, I wrote the Professional Scrum Master Certification, PSM by scrum.org, and I passed and I got my certification, and I'm looking to, thank you, sir, and I'm looking to start a career path and being a Scrum Master. I've gotten a lot of advice from mentors, but I want to know your own opinion. Like, what is the next step for me after getting the PSM certification? Should I focus on getting more certificates? Where is that noise coming from? Please, everyone should turn off their mic, please. Thank you. So I want to know your advice. What's the next step for me to take to get more certifications or focus on getting hands-on experience? And if I'm focusing on getting an hands-on experience, how do I get this opportunity to probably maybe intern as a Scrum Master, or which way should I go? Like, where should I seek these opportunities? Because I realize that there are not much opportunities for Scrum Masters in Nigeria, to be honest. There are very few Scrum Masters that are actually operated in Nigeria. Most of Scrum Masters I know are living abroad, probably in the US, Canada, and UK. How do I get these opportunities when I'm kind of limited in my own country to even practice this thing called Scrum?
Okay, thank you very much for that question, because you are bringing out something very germane. I'm going to say this. Careers like Scrum Master, career path like Scrum Master thrives in communities and cities and locations where they value people and they value life. At the end of the day, you're going to discover this. If you already have your certification, and please let me say this, it does not only apply to Scrum, but applies to every field. Having a certification does not get you a job. Having a certification just could help, but that would not be the primary thing that actually gets you a job, because in working economies and system, your certification is not as strong as your hands-on. And that's why I was very happy that you actually talked about hands-on. Hands-on is very, very essential. Now, what are the ways you can start up with hands-on? Number one, first, make sure you have a Scrum Master community that you periodically, because now you have certification, you've done the exam. If you don't have an environment that keeps bringing up those skills, those methodologies, when you are talking about your burn down chart, you are talking about your sprint, you don't have an environment that keeps bringing that to you, you are going to be losing that skills gradually. So that's why belong to a community that will keep refreshing all those methodologies and all those approach. Belong to a community that will keep refreshing that to you. That's number one. Number two, it's very important you look out for, you may not get the job as a Scrum Master immediately, but look out for opportunities where you can practice all those concepts. In fact, if it will take you to just volunteer, If you take it to volunteer, you could look for, in fact, as simple as, as simple as a church. You make them realize, okay, why not let's use this particular approach to work, then introduce Scrum to them, then become their Scrum Master. It might be your organization, introduce Scrum to them. It might be a project. See, like what you raised, I actually had close to like 5 persons raise this same issue with me last week. And we're looking at, okay, let's bring up a project where you guys can actually work in the project, and it begins to add up to your work experience. There are some other Scrum Masters. They came together and said, okay, let's come together. Let's put up a project. Okay, there's this project that is going on. They don't have a Scrum Master. I'll recommend you as a Scrum Master for them, so that at the end of the day, you can make them to realize the need for bringing in Scrum as a methodology instead of using project management as it were. So it's just very important. Look out for where you can volunteer. Then look out for where you can, the challenge is some people and some organizations don't see the need. Why do I need to have Scrum? Let's do the business the way we are going to do it. But you need to now begin to present that value to them. Why? You are doing it for 2 purposes. You need to gain experience. You need to get things you can write up in your CV or in your resume as part of your experience. Then number 2, you are also adding value to the organization. Honestly, I always say it. Any organization that is not using Scrum, I don't know what else you want to use. Any organization that is not using Scrum, it saves time. You get your deliverables and you're not waiting endlessly. So if you're not using Scrum, what do you want to do? But the challenge is most people don't even know. So that's why you have something of value you want to offer. They don't know the value. For some organizations, you need to let them know the value, then present the value to them. Then also, you could also look for projects that you could actually volunteer in and actually serve as their Scrum Master. Then remember where I started from. Very essential. Get a Scrum community where you would always interact and interface and listen so that your skill will remain fresh. Then in those communities, sometimes opportunities would actually come. I think Mr. Gbolahan has his hands up. Probably he wants to chime in.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's very succinct. And I just hope the person that asked the question took note of the keyword community. And the same thing applies to all the skills you're acquiring as a tech expert. The truth of the matter is you cannot grow outside of your community. You can only grow within a community that you belong to. So you need to selectively choose the right community where you have people with similar interests and ways by which you can align with purpose. That's one. The other aspect is, because of time, that's why I'm sure that both of us could not go so deep into some of the conversations. Okay, we just scratch it on the surface because some of these conversations are things that we would even talk in series. Okay, looking at the landscape of technology in these present times from the perspective of disruption, everything had been put into the mold of agility, and that's where the issue of Scrum and other agile methodologies are coming. Even in project management, another space where I'm operating. Okay, there has been this shift. There's been this transition from the traditional method of managing projects to agile systems, which Scrum is one, because you have almost about 7 or 8 and new ones are still emerging. Okay, so Scrum is just one of the type of agile project management process, methodology. So if you have that skill, it's a big plus to you because you are positioning yourself as a solution provider. The question is now, how do you relate or how do you connect your skill to the community or to the location and field industry where you need to provide the solution? The honest truth is you can start from your living room. A lot of times as skill experts, we usually think that we need to throw ourselves all out there and become employees rather than thinking about becoming an employer. Most of the people that employs skill experts, they also have a time when they sat down and develop critical solutions that employ people. So while you are still thinking, oh, I've acquired this skill, what can I do with the skill? How do I get a job for me to be able to use the skill? Sit down in your room, look at your purpose, identify the problems that we have in your immediate community. Wherever you are living, your immediate community is the first starting point. Look at the critical problems you have. You can volunteer as a community
solution provider. Okay, it might be road construction, it might be waste management, whatever it is. Join your community development association and begin to use the skill. That's the least you can do. Use the skill to bring in solutions, offer solutions. Then you can take it higher. Look at the state. We have, how many of us know that we have Lagos State Development Corps? And it's a volunteer-based corporation. You can go online, Google them. You can volunteer and join them. These are more like a think tank that research, at least I'm part of them, so I know. We do research work. We go to communities at our own convenience with our own resources, come up with data, do a lot of things, and provide solutions to problems, whether government uses or not. When you have opportunity, then you know that you have actually have a repository of what you can act on for solution provision. The other dimension is, I know quite a number of us, if not all of us, are out there on social media. LinkedIn, at least for now, LinkedIn is the reputable, sorry, something scratched my eyes. Okay, LinkedIn is the reputable professional community online, virtual online, that's quite a number of us, even all of us, are part of. Okay, you can get a lot of opportunities to relate on LinkedIn. Okay, if you have, like some of us, when you get certification and all of that, you take it to LinkedIn and celebrate. You even give analysis of what you learned, acquiring a skill. Trust me, someone will be attracted to that and want to either network with you or kind of like introduce you to something and all of that. When I did my own first stage certification in Scrum, the following month, one of the verified education institutes approached me and told me that they want me to be one of their representatives in Nigeria. That's VMUD. They want me to be, because I was able to portray what I learned through that process and give my desire for further learning and all of that. And they wrote me. Unfortunately, it wasn't part of my plans at that time. So I rejected the offer. Again, just to substantiate what Matthew said earlier on, that is not everything that comes, not all that glitters is good. So I rejected it in order for me to be able to focus on my plan and my goal for that season. So honestly, utilize all these opportunities. And it's within those frames that if you need to get a job, honestly, you get a job. You are saying there is no job for Scrum Master in Nigeria. It's a big lie. It's because you are not well informed or you don't have access to the information. Flutterwave last month recruited about 3, because I have friends working with Flutterwave. They recruited about 3 new Scrum Masters. Jobberman, if you register to get job alerts on Jobberman, you will be shocked each time they have opportunities for Scrum Masters that they'll be sending messages to you and mails to you. So you need to network and throw yourself out there on those information communities and, of course, the main Scrum Master community, so that when opportunities come, either for remote jobs or volunteer service or whatever, you'll be opportune to receive the information.
All right, thank you so much, sir. We have a question from Olivia. She says, how do you navigate a toxic community? You all have things in common, but there's that toxicity. So, Mr. Matthew, please, can you take this question?
How do you navigate a toxic community? Actually, when you are joining up a community, you observe first, second, third, before you make up your mind to be a part. I am sorry to say this. I'm really sorry to say this. I enjoy more of non-Nigerian based communities. The communities I work with, they are mostly non-Nigerian based. That's why I say I'm sorry about that, and it's a pity. The few Nigerian-based community I tried to be a part, I got out of it because, like she said, it was actually toxic. And God should help us as a country. We probably, because of the atmosphere situation and things that we are in, it actually affects the way we even relate with ourselves. So I would encourage, I know, I'm not saying absolutely, I know there will be some good communities in Nigeria, but as an individual, I am not involved in, at the moment, in any Nigerian-based community. that is fully Nigerian. Even though some of the community eventually I'm involved in are not based in Nigeria, but they are Nigerians there, but not an absolute Nigerian thing. So that's what I'm going to say. When you get into a community and it's not good for your mental health, and you don't have the administrative privilege or administrative right to effect the change you want, to make the community a community that you would want, get out of it for your mental health sake and look out for other communities. Mr. Gbolahan, please.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes, still talking about community. You can see the importance of community relations here, okay? Both from the professional perspective and social perspective, you need to relate in communities. In fact, we grow in communities, we succeed in communities. So now defining the right community you should belong to is a skill as well. Like I said, everything is not just about the technical skill. Okay, if you don't have the right power skill for you to be able to make the right choice when you are determining the right community to belong to, it becomes a burden to you. So if peradventure you now find yourself in one, honestly, the first thing you need to do is to reevaluate your purpose. You have to reevaluate your purpose, because purpose will help you to, at every point in time, navigate through phases of life with alignment, because that becomes your point of reference. You have Scrum Masters, you have project management skill, you have AWS, you have Microsoft skills on different programs and all of that. All of these things are good, but are they focused, or are they centrally focused on your purpose? Now, if what makes a toxic environment is anything that does not propagate, promote, or support the successful exhibition of your purpose. So you see purpose and how important it is. So once you identify that, then re-evaluate your purpose. Maybe this thing is even internal. Maybe the toxicity is bringing an internal struggle. You never can tell. Because I used to tell people, don't look at issues on the surface. What you call toxic might not necessarily be toxic. It might be because there's an inner struggle you are dealing with. And if you don't deal with it, once you move into another community or another environment, like I have heard a lot of friends that tell me, oh, Nigeria is not good, is this, is that. Yeah, those are realities. But the upper reality is the fact that, have you been able to solve your personal inner struggles? If you don't, even if you move to UK, you move to the US, anywhere in the world, you discover that it's just a matter of time before you realize that, no, this thing still remains. So first of all, assess that and ensure really that the problem is community-based. The problem is institutional, is not personal. So once you have established that, then the next thing you need to do, don't even think twice, move out of that community, because you can't help the community. That's the honest truth. You can't really help the community. You need help by finding a grant. So if you have gotten your grant, if you have gotten your fairness, then you can now help the community by creating a framework structure that will revolutionize or transform that community. And usually transformation happens when you have acquired what it means to transform, of which as simple as leadership skill might be. Okay, you've seen what has been happening in our political space. People will move and jump again and move back and all of that. And at the end of the day, it's the same thing. So that means they've not really acquired what it is. So whether you belong to A or B or C or D, what you don't have, you don't have. And honestly, what you don't know, you don't know. Whether you're a professor or you are an emeritus, so whatever position you attain in life, what you don't know, you don't know. And ignorance is not an excuse in performance. Okay. So the second thing I will now say again is, I believe in Nigeria, we have sustainable, credible community. And here's my take. At least personally, I belong to some project management institute, International Facility Management Institute. These are opportunities or areas or dimensions of industries where some of these skills can be implemented or can be utilized. You look at professional institutions, it might even be one that is computer education oriented. Okay, like you have ISACA and some of these certifications too. Some of them are built. Even in Nigeria, we have Scrum Masters Association. So you look for some of these institutions with alignment to purpose and alignment to your professional objectives, your vision, your mission.
okay, and career development plan. So once you find one, you belong there. And then within that same institution or organization, depending on the structure they have or the kind of framework they operate on, you can then limit your involvement or your volunteer service or your availability to the one that particularly projects and promotes what you are all about. Okay, so from there you can begin to grow because it's more like a ladder. Life and growth is progressive. You have to take the first leap of faith, and then you identify people within that space. You might even identify people who are working in some of the institutions that you may be behind. You have people working in you have people working in PWC, in some of these organizations and associations and communities who can also, network and link you up with other international bodies and all of that. Some of the international bodies I joined, I got to know about them from some of my local networks. So that is how it works. And you have to be consistent. Don't give up. Toxicity might have given you a different perspective, but you have to just encourage yourself. And with all that we are telling you, then take the next step and the next step and the next step. Don't give up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, this is the last question for today. The question is from one of our YouTube viewers. It says, what does it take for a greenhorn to become a technical writer? Mr. Gbolahan, can you take that?
Sorry, I'm not sure I got that clearly. What does it mean to be what?
What does it take for a greenhorn to become a technical writer? I really don't know what a greenhorn means, but I don't know.
Whole. Sorry, can you pronounce?
I think it's a green on, like a newbie.
Newbie.
Oh, okay.
Someone in the,
I was trying to understand the vocabulary. Okay. When you're talking about a greenhorn, okay, you are actually talking about like a fresh bee. You are talking about well, in another climb, they will say a newcomer, so to speak. Okay, someone who has this capacity but has not been able to leverage on the opportunities for him or her to develop greater competence. See, this is what I preach, especially to those that are very close to me, that I mentor and all of that. See, every human being, as long as you have breath within you, you have untold capacity, honestly. And this is where I got my drive and my motivation from. Have you ever come across someone who is limp and drives on the streets? Have you ever thought about how the person gets to do that? Have you ever seen someone who doesn't have any limp and yet is one of the best artists in the whole world? Have you seen blind people, okay? Have you seen blind people who are even deaf? They don't have means of communication, but yet find fulfillment of purpose. The honest truth is, regardless of your condition, regardless of the level of opportunity you are accessible to, either you are less opportune, you are mildly opportune, or you are largely opportune, regardless of the position you find yourself. The truth of the matter is, you need to realize your inherent capacity, your inherent ability. And that starts from self-discovery. Okay, it starts from self-discovery. So once you discover yourself, okay, forget about what you used to take when you were in school, that, oh, maybe you're an average student, or you used to fail, or you even finished with third class, okay? Or maybe you were a first class graduate or all of that. Forget about all that. That is not your true self. That is not your true self. That's the honest truth. Many of us had to become that, say, because we want to satisfy certain interests, either your lecturer's interest or your friend's competitive interest or your parents, whatever it is. Now, the real self has to be revealed. Your real self has to be discovered. So once you discover your real self, then you'll be able to have access, unlimited access to your capability, to ability. Then you now you develop competencies on your ability that nobody can beat, honestly. Nobody. If you take a Nigerian who is working within this stagnant economy, who has discovered himself and have understood his capacity, trust me, when you put him in an opportune environment, developed economy, that person will become the best. And that is why you see Nigerians flourishing every part of the world where they go. And you keep asking yourself, are they not the same people who are here before? In the same vein, you see Nigerians who get out there and become non-entities. Non-entities. So you just have to, first of all, discover yourself. So that is why, whether you call it greenhorn or honeybee or whatever you call it, honestly, the issue is know who you are. Know who you are. Any real mentor will first help you to discover yourself, because there's nothing you want to teach. There's nothing you want to show the person. There's nothing, because there are certain things that you don't have to even teach. You don't have to teach. You just have to know by observation. You have to know by being vigilant. You have to know by being innovative. So if you don't discover yourself, there's no way you can align with all these realities, because the realities are there and you don't know them. Nigeria's opportunities are bad every day. And this is the last thing I will say. Honestly, I've realized from all my research works that every problem you know, every problem you get to discover is a great opportunity for you to flourish. Every great problem. Is it economic problem? Is it even the education problem? And probably some of you that are following on LinkedIn, you discover that I also work within EdTech space. Why do I go into education technology? Why am I interested in education technology? I know definitely for me to successfully mentor or even work in the youth communities, there's no way I can not, get myself acquainted with education. And if you are talking about education in Nigeria, it's collapsed, is in their need of transformation. And how can you bring about transformation if not with technology? So I had to go into EdTech. So I work within EdTech space. So these are things that I think that individually, okay, if you really want to move ahead and implement all these things that we've been telling you, okay, relating from realities to you, you have to discover yourself and know the direction at which you are going. Thank you.
Okay, let me quickly add this. For those who would want, especially for the person that also asked the question, that wants a very practical approach into technical writing, you can take advantage of the Google training. I would post it in the chat room, the link. It's free to help you to get some practical exposure in technical writing.
Thank you. Yeah. So also when you go to Coursera, you go to Udemy, there are a lot of free trainings and courses you can also do, not necessarily because you want to earn a certification, but of course for knowledge acquisition, because what you don't know, you don't know. So you can leverage on all these. I used to tell people there are so many freebies online and positive freebies. It is what you search for, what you seek for that you get. Things does just come to you on a platter of good like that. A lot of certifications I've done that I even got scholarship to do simply because I sought for them. So it's not everything that you see on my profile that I've achieved that I spend my dollars and pounds to do. I got a number of them on scholarship simply because I sought for them. So take advantage of the internet. Don't just spend all your time Instagramming or tweeting what is not, that will not benefit you, that will not add value to the future we have discussed. Search for things that just go. You can type NASA opportunity or NASA scholarship, or go there. Oh, Starlink, you heard that they are coming to Nigeria. Definitely they are coming with opportunities. Search and let's know what opportunities are they coming with. United Nations or even World Bank, all of these corporate organizations have at least a CSR arm where they propagate or promote or support some things in tech industry. So you need to align with them as long as they align with your purpose.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's all for now. So we'll take it to the marketing team. Elijah, can start now.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much, both the speakers. It was really a very great and enlightening section. All right. So it's actually we had so much about networking, about opportunities, about leveraging. One key thing you need to understand is that the power of mentorship is to give you, all right, a strategic leverage to level up professionally. All right. So I want to tell you about, just in case you're here, all right, and you want to join a mentorship network, you want to be part of something working, something alive. All right. You want to not just only be a part of something, but you want to discover yourself more, because that's where the big issues start from. You discover, you develop, and then you deploy. So if you have things like these, and I believe you should have things like these after so many knowledge that has come to you so far, if you really have things in this area, then in Bincom, we actually have a space for you. All right. So the Bincom Tech Network is an availed opportunity avenue for you to not just only nurture this interest and intent of yours, but also to connect with like minds. Iron sharpen iron, wood will not sharpen iron. So if you're a techie listening to me right now, wherever you are, and you want to be a part of the tech network, all right, right on the chat box where you are. I mean, don't stop. Don't let anything distract you now. This is your moment. Don't let anything go through your mind. Don't doubt. Don't disappoint yourself. Don't underrate yourself. Don't sell yourself cheap. Someone say buy the future when it's cheap. Well, this is your time. Well, so this is your time. So right now on the chat box where you are, all right, you can just a link is going to be sent to the chat box, by the way, to it has been sent already. So connect. All right, click it, add yourself up. If you can't do that, then you can just drop your email address and an invitation mail will be directed towards you. So there is so much in store for you. I'm so excited because I know what is coming for you. Now I'm going to move on to talking about a more larger, more awesome opportunity. Now, maybe you are here and you have a certain tech skill. All right. There's always a demand for improvement. There's always a demand for you to get better. There's always a demand on your overall performance in this area. You cannot monopolize the entire knowledge within the tech space. You cannot do that. So just in case you're wondering, okay, I'm an average web developer, or I'm actually a basic DevOps personnel. Somebody have one of the speakers mentioned cloud computing. All the money, is going to that space. Tech is oil is tech. All right. Just in case you have questions like these and you're like, what am I going to do? Don't worry. Or maybe you have friends, you have families, or possibly you have enemies as well. But you're different because you have a good towards your enemy. And you know deeply within yourself that if they have access to this resourceful opportunity to learn, not just to learn, to develop, not just to develop, but also to deploy. All right. There are three key things that will be availed to you. The first one, as a result of the Bincom Global Tech program, you have access to work. You have access to learn skills. You have access to gain experience. You have access to gain exposure. So credible exposure, practical experience, and of course, the adoption of skill set to scale through the future. So the link has also been dropped there. And over the course of 2 minutes, a very short, exciting, eye-catching, heart-thrilling video is going to be played. And all you have to do right from where you are is just relax, listen to the video. As you're listening, be acting, drop your email address on the chat box if you have not done so. If you've seen the link there, right, there's a link that has been sent already. You can click on the Global Tech link, go and fill up your email address, fill up your full name as well. So just take out time. Oh, someone is one of the speakers raised up his hand just now. All right. Okay. Possibly. Should I bring you in, Miss Amem?
The video
Maybe.
first. After the video, we take questions.
Okay, after the video. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the video, ask your questions. Don't worry. Now the video is going to shoot now. All right, sir.
Bincom Center is a multi-location tech training and development center in Nigeria. And our major objective at Bincom Dev Center is to produce over 1,000 quality tech individuals every year. These people are highly employable, globally attractive, and highly sought after in the tech ecosystem. You ask why, right? Yes, tech talents are in high demand in international communities such as US, the UK, Canada, and France. These countries have made policies and pathways to enable immigrations for tech talents. And guess what? Average salaries of software developers are as high as £35,000 per annum, and this is at the entry level. The opportunity for tech talents are endless, both locally and internationally. This means that the tech ecosystem is one of the highest employers of labor in Nigeria. Yet, many tech companies say that they are not able to find the right tech talents that they need. This is why we started the Bincom Global Tech Program. The program focuses on 3 major pillars, which are learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure. The program spans between 1 to 2 years, and during this period, trainees are taken through an in-depth curriculum in their chosen tech tracks and also in development of soft skills required for them to become globally attractive in the tech ecosystem, both locally and internationally. This program helps trainees to learn tech skills, gain relevant tech experience, and also exposure to the endless possibilities and opportunities available in the tech ecosystem all over the world. Listen to some of the testimonials of our past and the exposure. The company is also willing to invest their money on you. It doesn't get better than that. What are you waiting for? Hurry up to bincom.net/globaltech and to launch your global tech career. Thank you.
Yes. So don't procrastinate. You've heard it, you've seen it, you've possibly tested it. No, you can't test words, but nonetheless, you receive this information. So right now you can act. All right. Go to the chat box. All right. Don't stop. You have that the average salary is £35,000, pounds per annum average entry point. That is huge. And just like the both speakers have said, you need to be rightly positioned to become not just only globally attractive, but to be seen as someone of relevance and someone of ultimate value wherever you find yourself. And that is why we bring to you both the Bincom Tech Network for you to connect with smart minds just like you. Count it as the Silicon Valley of Africa for yourself and connect. And we'll bring to you also the Global Tech Program, where you can actually learn the skill set and also have access to credible, quality, and resourceful network as well. So don't stop. All right, wherever you are, don't stop. Distance is not a barrier. Click the link. I believe some of you have clicked it already. I believe it. I know it. Just click it, go straight to the landing page, fill up your name, your full name, fill up your email address. I'm going to get back at you. I'm going to start this program. You're going to be smiling. He sent the link again, so click it. If you don't, if just in case you're wondering, because of the time or anything, copy the link, copy it, capture, take screenshot, whatever you can do. Copy, take screenshot, save it. All right, share it also to your network. Right, enable others as a result of you being enabled today. So there is so much to say, but I'm just so excited. All right, so I think one of the I wanted to say something earlier on, but basically this is this section. So you can ask your questions. Yes, so ask your questions as regards the program, how to start. Well, I think I've given you an insight into how to start and other stuff as well. So if you have any question on this regards, forward them to me. Your time starts now. All right. Amazing. So yeah, you can ask a question, please. All right. So except if you're already, typing and acting out already, that'll be different. Or if you are not acting and maybe you want clarity about certain things that does not sound so clear to you, ask your questions. Should I give you more reasons why you need to join such a program? I can do that. I can give you boundless amount of reasons, justifiable reasons why you need to join the program. One of the key reasons I know is that you all know, one of the speakers did mention that the economic turbulence, all right, things are shifting from the normal position. So you just need to ask yourself, do you want to still be within, in quote, function within the seeming restricted locality in which you found yourself, or do you want to become a global figure that will earn in dollars, all right? So at least let one of that also be a motivating factor that you want to change, not just your reach, but you want to also gain access to credible quality connections far beyond your reach. So with tech, you can network the entire world. So let nothing stop you. Click it, go to the landing page, click it. I'm saying click it because you're seeing me and you can see me. Click it, click. All right, so, and feel free to also share the link to your network as well. right? Because you are a point of contact to someone else's opportunity. And I think someone rightly said something some time back. He said, you are 4 people away from connecting to the entire world. And that is so true. You just need 4 persons. And these 4 persons will bring to you 4 doors of opportunities. Right now, and one of these programs where one of those doors of opportunities has been made available to you. So don't stop, don't wait, right? Do something, change the narrative, all right? Change the entire story of yourself, of your relationship to you, of your relationship to your society, of relationship to your nation. Be the change you want the world to see. So go learn tech, all right? Commit to the discipline, commit to the experience, commit to the exposure, commit yourself. And most definitely, if you're consistent and excellent in the way you deliver your set values, definitely the doors of boundless access to quality resources that will make the greatest difference in your life will be availed to you on the platter of gold. So let nobody stop you. All right. So click. And if you have a question, all right, or any question at all, I think one of the speaker, was it Mr. Bolahun? Hope I got the pronunciation well. Mr. Bolahun, all right, you raised your hand earlier on. Just in case you have a question, I am fully available to get your questions and most definitely give you answers that are due. Or if you want to contribute, you're also free to do so, sir. All right. Any question? Who has a question?
No, my hands was actually raised before, so I had to lower it. So before I spoke, so I had to lower it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I believe everyone has dropped their details. Please, very important. Right now, this will be the final phase. Wherever you are in any region of the world, all right, just type in the chat box where you're connecting from. Right, very important. Maybe you're connecting from Dallas, maybe you're connecting from South Africa, maybe you're connecting from Puerto Rico, maybe you're connecting from Mozambique, maybe you're connecting from Venezuela, maybe you're connecting from wherever. You're connecting from Nigeria, Lagos State, Imo State, Abuja, Yenegua, wherever. Type it down. Represent, someone say, represent where you are typing from. Wow, someone is connecting from Eket. I love Eket. That's a nice place to be. Someone also is connecting from Abeokuta. Nice. Someone is connecting from Ibadan. That's also a very nice place to be. So type. Yes. Okay, another person also is connecting from Abeokuta. That's nice. Lagos, Nigeria. Nice. Type. Let's see where you're connecting from. And this is an available opportunity for you to network with yourself. Oh, Lagos as well. So everybody's Lagos, Eket, Ibadan, Abeokuta. Come on. Let's be coming. So forward. And I think it's the right time also for you to, after everything I've said so far, all right, it's a high time for you to connect with yourself. All right. So this is like a strategic networking section, also connected to the previous things I have discussed. Benin Republic. Yes, that's also a nice place to be. There are nice people over there. So we have someone from Benin Republic. We have someone from Lagos. We have people from Abeokuta, from Eket, Akwa Ibom, from Ibadan, from where else again? There's also someone from Imo State. All right, so forward. Let us see. We have over 20 persons on board, and so far I've gotten feedback from less than 10 persons. So, all right, be proud of where you are, wherever you're typing from. You don't know who is there. You don't know how you can connect with people out there. And these are very strategic time for you. Also keep in mind that you need to click the Global Tech Program. Register for you, register for your friend. Tell your friends about it. Tell them to register. That's the vibe. That's the energy. That's the synergy. You just have to click it. All right. So keep that in the back of your mind, but still send in your location. So I have Mr. Olajide Shuti. Wow, United States. All right, I think someone said United States or somewhere, but I think the place is Ayetoro. All right, someone is from Ayetoro. Mr. Alex is from Ayetoro. Mr. Olajide Shitu is from Lagos State. Miss Olivia, she's from Benin Republic, right on the chat box. You see, everybody's connected, everybody's vibing, everybody is all synced up together. All right. So connect with yourself. All right. So let nothing stop you. Connect with yourself and keep in mind, the Global Tech Program. That is the best thing that can happen to you. It's the Global Tech Program. It's the Bincom Global Tech Program. It's a program that makes you global. It's a program that makes you global. The Bincom Global Tech Program. So don't let that skip your mind. All right. So I think let's just give just some few extra time. In the next 3 minutes, I'll be wrapping up this section, and most definitely, the moderators are going to take 3 minutes. Oh, okay, yes. So in 3 minutes, I think I'm right on time. All right, so or better still, in 2 minutes. All right. Final words to everyone before I take hand over the part that's been entrusted to me. Because a great part comes great responsibility. Hand it over to the person that gave it to me, Miss Amen. So one important thing we need to take back home today, all right, it's not just about words, all right? Some of us have heard nearly some of those things in previous times, all right? It's not just about talking it, it's about doing, all right? So we've had so much nugget of knowledge, and when this nugget of knowledge is put into practical use, then the springs of wisdom arise, and wisdom is profitable to direct. So you've learned so much today, all right? Work on yourself, right? Improve yourself, all right? Don't just wait for opportunities to come to you, all right? Go out there, knock at the door, all right? It's certain rendition once says that if you knock on every door, it will be open. So it's only on doors that you've knocked on that will be open to you. If you've not knocked on any door and you're waiting for wherever you are for doors to be knocked at you, it will not happen. So try to extend yourself. See yourself as a global figure. See yourself as a global person, and maintain that inward disposition of yourself and impact your work with the valuable skill set you've built, and also with the competence and confidence in the things you know so far. And never, never, never stop growing, stop being better, always remain hungry. And that is that about that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Elijah. Thank you for that wonderful speech at the end.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're about to wrap up the event. Thank you to the speakers. One more thing before this the event comes to an end, we would like the speakers to just give us a way to contact them, either by dropping telling us their contact info or their social media platform that we can contact with them. Either should drop it on the chat box, or you can just call it out for us to out. But it's better that we'll get it on the chat box so that we can just click it up straight and connect with the speakers. So now back to the speakers. Mr. Gbolahan or Mr. Matthew.
Hello, Tolu.
Yes, are you on, sir?
Yes. Sorry, I missed what you said. Can you repeat what you said?
Yeah, I said that we need like maybe some of us want to connect with you after the meeting, maybe to ask that question. We need like a way to connect with you, or maybe via your social media platforms, so you can get your social media platform link either on the chat box, or you can just call your social media platform here, and we should get that down. Would appreciate that.
No problem. I'm actually typing right away.
All right, thank you. So we told you, if you want to, we are here to connect you where you network, and also you can get mentoring in our company, Bincom Dev Center. And also, Global Tech Program has been also marketing to everybody. So if you have friends that are interested in tech, that want to go into tech, you can share this link with them. I've posted it on the chat box. You can send it to your friends also. And also, if you want to be part of our tech network, the biggest tech network in Africa, hoping to be the biggest tech network in Africa, you are free. The link is already on the chat box. Join our channel on Slack. On the channel, you get access to meet our mentors, where you get access to mentors, and also you connect with other people, other techies of like minds, and you can grow your business together. So you are welcome at any time to do that. So as the speakers are dropping their details on the chat box, we would end the meeting in a minute. So thank you everybody that have been able to make it to the meeting today. And yeah. Okay. Right. That's for personally. So yeah, Mr. Matthew, good. Well done.
I was not hearing well.
Sorry. Oh, okay, sir. I said that please, yeah, we'll need your contact information where we can contact you from, either maybe Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, where we can connect with you. You can help us to drop it on the chat box. So anybody wants to connect with you can.
Okay.
Tap your link. Yeah.
I will do that. I'll do that now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Gbolahan. Mr. Gbolahan has dropped his LinkedIn profile. So if you want to connect with Mr. Gbolahan, you can connect with him on LinkedIn. And also any other person that is interested in Scrum Master's job, you have a link already down. You see, the ICT Career Talk also brings job. So this is a job in front of you where you can get a job. So thank you, Mr. Gbolahan, for this. You're welcome. Thank you, Alf. And thank you to all the participants of today's event. Hope we've been able to impact you a bit down before, and hope you'll be able to gotten something from this event. The same event again, this ICT Career Talks holds every last Saturday of the month. So another event is coming up again next month, the last Saturday in the next month. And also we have meetups that hold every week. We have meetups that hold every week. That's between the teams that we have. They have meetups that hold weekly. So and they are on Fridays. So anyone you have a chance to join, you can always find us on this same link. The link is not different. Just join that Fridays or Saturdays. And also we have labs by Bincom where we help you build a startup from scratch with your own personal team. And also we have our Bincom Academy where we help give you the required set skills that you are interested in. So these and lots more you can find out at www.bincom.net. To know more about us, you can send us a mail at bincomdevcenter@bincom.net. And also, what's next? Okay, I think that's all. And also, you can follow us on all our social media platforms at Bincom Dev Center. Thank you. Mr. Matthew also I'll drop his LinkedIn profile, so you can always connect with him there, either for mentorship or to ask more questions on cloud. So thank you for joining. We'll see you again next week. Thank you all.
How far have you gone?
Yeah.